Hey, we are on time and all ready to go for tonight's best of Trial Watch with Demetra, Judge D Lit, as I like to call myself. Okay, and we are in. I have to go back and number these parts. I kind of fell off on numbering them, but I'm going to number them that way for the playlist. You guys can find the part if you missed the part. So I'm going to do that tonight when I finish this live. So I already say hello to Mr. F219. Hey, Winter POP, hold me down. Official Lit Lane Jury Box Bailiff. Okay. Hey, M. Renee. Good evening, girl. M. Renee been getting locked up. Okay. I'm locked up. They won't let me out. Rock been getting locked up in the cage because, baby, he been just snapping at Apollo. And we have got to break him from that meanness. But I'm pretty sure he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Just pray for him, okay? Tonight, for this best of nighttime viewing, we've been covering the Georgia burn pile trial, okay? State of Georgia versus Melody Farris. Melody Farris has been accused of unaliving her husband of 38 years, Gary Farris. Gary Farris was a prominent and successful lawyer there in their city. They had 4 adult kids, and it's we can only call it a lot of family dynamics. Okay, a lot of different family dynamics, played in this family. On both sides of the marriage, there's infidelity that's been spoke about. Okay, and one of the people that we're definitely going to watch their testimonies. He unlocked now. He free now, Renee. One of the testimonies that we haven't got to yet is going to be of a Rusty. He's supposed to be the lover of the defendant, Melody Farris. We've been listening now. We're still listening to Chris. Chris Farris, the oldest of the Farris kids. Let me put up the family tree. So, on the stand right now is still Chris Farris, and that's a horrible picture. If I was in court and I was him, I would be like, out of all the pictures in the world, hey, Pretty Glory Status, welcome back. Why they got this picture of me up there? I know he's sick of seeing that picture in that courthouse, right? So he's still on the stand. We finally got to the cross examination of Chris, and last night, the defense attorney was giving us everything that we need and more. Okay, if you want to talk about TV court drama, last night the cross-examination of Chris by Melody Farris's attorneys was TV courtroom drama status. Hey, Lady Steph, not POP, hold me down, child. Welcome back to the Lit Lane Jury Box, Lady Steph. I'm glad to see you. So, so we definitely want to go ahead and continue. I thought about just skipping over to his wife. I think gonna come up there next, but they got some pictures that we're gonna see tonight in the cross examination, and the defense attorney. I should have fast forwarded through some of the state. They was the ones boring. The cross-examination of Chris on the stand by the defense attorney is excellent. So we're going to get back into that, okay? Sometime this year, we will be finished with the testimony of Chris Farris, I assure you guys. If you haven't done so, please hit the like. And if you got here by accident, you don't know where you're at, you're right here at Trial Watch with Demetra. If you're here right now, you have become a part of the Lit Lane Jury Box. Welcome to one of the newest Trial Watch chats on YouTube. Please keep coming. Please understand that we are opinionated, outspoken, sometimes boisterous, unapologetic, intelligent, and a little bit impatient. Please hit the like and let's get into it. This is under fair usage. Let me put that up real quick. Gotta remember to do that. Boom. That allows for me to do this type of content and give these reactions as educational and for reason for critique. So that's enough for all the introductions. Let me see if anybody else came in. I'll catch everyone and say come in. Let's get started with Chris. Hold on. Boom. Okay.
I remember I watched Jaws that night.
Jaws 1, 2, or 3?
Probably 1. I knew he was playing golf because I saw it on Snapchat, and I remember messaging him on Snapchat.
Okay, that's where we're at, right here.
About
cross-examination of Chris Farris, oldest son.
Potentially paying that much money for this trip.
No.
And then maybe he was going to call off the trip.
Nope.
Hey, Livin. Welcome back.
Okay, let's talk about the pool party. When did y'all went to breakfast? You went to Waffle House that day, or was that on the 3rd?
Are you talking about the 4th?
The 4th, yeah.
We went to Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel that day because you went up to Norcross to give a check to an individual that worked for you in your painting
I think
business.
his name was Julio. Yeah.
Okay. So you go out there, and his name was Julio?
I think so. I think it was Julio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go with the selective memory.
And then you got back, and what time did the pool party start?
Oh, I don't remember. Sometime after noon, like after 12 p.m. But I don't remember exactly what time.
All right. And how
Hey,
long
Kathy
were
Smith,
you at
welcome
pool
back to
party
the Nigerian
before
Box.
you took Addie up to the house?
Oh, man. A few hours. Maybe 2 or 3 hours at least, 3 or 4. I don't remember.
And you knew your mom was up at Lake Lanier Islands with
Cameron
and
Scott. I mean, Cameron, Chad, and Amanda.
All right. But Scott was also over at Lake Lanier, but he'd been playing golf that morning? Do you know?
I knew he was playing golf because I saw it on Snapchat. And I remember messaging him on Snapchat saying, God dang, you're playing golf early, aren't you?
Like, what time was he playing golf?
It was early, I don't remember exactly what time. I just remember, how you can look at a picture and you see kind of the haze.
Like, he did a Snapchat post that morning about playing golf.
Yeah.
It's like a selfie.
No, not a selfie. It's just his Snapchat.
Okay. Just like of the golf course. Happy 4th of July, maybe a beer or something. I don't know.
I don't know about a beer, but yeah, I think the Happy 4th of July thing probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Seems to ring a bell.
All right. So you texted back. So you knew he was there. You knew your mom was up at the lake. Your mom messages you, doesn't agree to meet on 400. You take her up to the house. Addie.
She called me.
Your mom called you.
Mm-hmm.
What'd she say?
Like I said before, she said, hey, does Addie still want to come have the sleepover at the farm?
Obviously, she said, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember. Walked over. She's in the pool swimming. I said, hey, you still want to go up there? Because
You didn't really want to go because you're at the pool party.
I didn't want to go just because it was so late in the day. I was like, well, we're already kind of here, and so, but like I said, if she wanted to go, I was going to take her.
Okay. I want to ask you a question right now.
Okay.
So you took your daughter up there, and there she was. And I'm going to very point blank ask you this question.
Okay.
Don't you think it's a little absurd to think that if your mother gruesomely killed your father and burned him on a burn pile, that she would invite your daughter up to her house? Her granddaughter, whom she loved more than anything.
I think it's sick and twisted.
So you think, is that what you think?
Yeah.
And that was, what'd you do the rest of the night on the 4th?
Hey, Kirk Vixen. Welcome back to the Nigerian Box. Thank you, guys. We are growing.
Just hung out with Jenna. And that's it.
Okay. So tell me about the 5th. Let's move on to the 5th.
Okay.
What'd you do? Tell me when you got up.
Woke up. I knew I needed to go up there, pick Addison up. At some point, Amanda called me, and she said, Daddy's missing. And that
we saw this part, huh?
Haste to get to the farm.
Hold on, I recognize that part.
Let me fast forward. Contending where she shot your dad. Nothing out of place.
Right. I wasn't looking for bullets. I was looking
We didn't hear that part.
that grandma would leave a gun in open access.
Hold on, a little bit back.
And did you hear your brother say something to the effect of,
Hey, Daddy Boo.
you know, I was in Afghanistan or Iraq. He was in Iraq, correct? And I know what burned bodies look like.
I don't remember him saying that, but I think he told me he had said that, or somebody told me he had said that.
I mean, were you standing there when he was calling 911? Because he told 911 that.
Yeah, no, because he said, when he said, get the girls out of here, I'm calling 911, I got the girls out of there.
Right.
Yeah, so I didn't hear his actual conversation with 911.
So are you aware that your brother Scott says that there was a revolver of some variety in that drawer right there?
Yes.
That he found it. Now, again, going back to in the statement you said earlier, and I'm going to ask you the question. And the jury can hear the answer. But Grandma loves those grandchildren. How ridiculous is it that Grandma would leave a gun in open access for children to have access to?
Well, I sure wouldn't do it.
But your mom wouldn't either.
I don't know that.
You know her.
I'm her firstborn son. I know her.
Did you ever hear the story of the year before when she made sure that when Scott had surreptitiously left the 32 in the barn, that she made sure it was moved up high so that those kids could never touch that gun in a barn?
I never heard that story.
And this, just because you're more familiar with the basement and the basement arrangement, these candles, like, is this glass holding up these candles?
It appears to be glass. I mean, you see through it. I doubt they're plastic.
And that's a glass table.
It is, sir.
And this is fine leather furniture.
I'm sure
And
it
your
is.
mother had the finest furnishings.
She had very good taste.
And when you were down there, nothing seemed out of place.
It didn't.
Welcome back, VA.
Nothing was broken.
Nope.
And then back to the dining room. These are fine silk chairs, are they not?
They are. I guess. I mean, I guess they're silk.
Well,
you say so. Like,
Well, I don't know.
I'll agree to that.
It was your mama's house. I just didn't know if you'd ever sit there for a holiday or
I'm not much on fabrics.
But it was a fabric chair.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. And these are fine, ornate lamps. Wouldn't you agree?
They're very nice.
All these furnishings, but nothing was broken. Nothing was out of place. You were there this weekend, the weekend before.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Okay. So you would agree with me that it's a bit absurd that the state is contending that that is where your mother shot your father. You would agree that's absurd.
I don't agree with that. No.
But
I don't know where she shot my dad. I don't know if she shot my dad.
You don't know it. You don't know if.
Yeah,
You don't know.
I didn't see anybody do anything to anybody.
But you were the first man on the scene there, one of the first.
Yeah.
Nothing out of place.
Nothing was out of place, sir.
Same view in the basement, because that's also where the state is maybe contending where she shot your dad. Nothing out of place.
Right. I wasn't looking for bullets. I was looking for my dad's wallet. I was looking for my father.
Oh my God.
Your
Pause. Did y'all catch? Do y'all know why I'm pausing? I'll wait. Do y'all know why I'm pausing and having a fit right now? We 18 minutes into it, maybe 4 minutes and 5 minutes into testimony. I'm hollering. I'm gonna tell y'all. Did y'all hear what he say? He said, I was looking for my dad's wallet. I was looking for my dad. Priorities. He was looking for his dad's wallet. Then he must have hurt himself. He obviously heard what he said. I was looking for my dad. Oh my God. Exactly. Welcome back, Lady T. We just getting into it. I'm already hollering at him. I'm going to contain myself. We already know he a jerk. I'm going to contain myself as much as possible.
Ex-wife. When did y'all get a divorce, Jenna?
Divorce was final in December of 2021.
Okay. And are you aware that she did an interview back in 2018, and she ended that phone call very oddly with, "I'm done talking. Can I be done now?" Did you ever know that? Were you in the room when she was talking to Talking Dog?
Nope.
Okay. And she never brought up any time ever seeing a gun. Did you find out later that all of a sudden she made up like she saw a gun, or do you know that at all?
No.
Okay. But again, when you went downstairs, nothing out of place. You went to his room.
I did.
CPAP machine was there. Did you check that?
I didn't check it. Like I didn't register in my mind to see if the CPAP was there. At that time, no.
So I want to ask you this. So you guys start then combing out across the property. You said you went out to the barn. Did you notice anything in the barn out of place?
No, sir.
Did you
Welcome
smell
back,
any cleaning chemicals in the barn?
No, sir.
Did you ever see the tractor?
No, sir.
There are a certain number of family members that know where the tractor normally is and things like that, but you wouldn't have been that guy. You didn't know that.
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
I didn't know how to drive tractor.
Right. Did you look through the barn? Did you go up to Scott's apartment?
I don't remember if I would assume I did, but I don't remember exactly.
So let's talk about Scott.
Okay.
We're almost done. We're getting close to lunch. I know the jury's getting hungry, and so am I. So are you. Scott was in the military.
Yes, sir.
What was his duties in the military?
He was infantry. I know he drove a Bradley, which is a armored vehicle.
Okay. Do you know any details about his service?
No. I mean, I know, I don't know the name of the town in Iraq where he was stationed. But I remember, him kind of telling me about it. I mean, he would call me from over there and say, check in, briefly. But I probably can't give you the most details about his exact service, like day-to-day type thing.
Did he ever mention, because he mentioned to 911 and the number of law enforcement in this case, that he knew what a burned body looked like? Did he ever mention any stories, any situations in Iraq?
No. I never asked.
And that's not unusual for vets.
Yeah.
But he's mentioned it, and so that's why I was asking you, since you guys are much closer.
Yeah. No, I never asked him, and I didn't want to ask him about that. I just kind of, if he wanted to tell me anything like that, that'd be fine. But no, we never talked about that.
But your brother, being in infantry division, was obviously well trained in firearms.
Oh, yeah.
And had a number of firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you this. Did you ever know of your brother having a revolver?
No.
All right. Did you ever know of your brother having a .357 stolen from him while he was living in Columbus?
I know his apartment in Columbus got broken into, but I don't know what was stolen.
What proof of that do you have?
Because I remember I went with my mom down there, and there was something. He told me about it. That's all.
He told you about it.
He told me about it.
That's it.
That's it.
Did you know that Scott was married?
Well, I found that out eventually.
So he hid that from the family.
He hid it from me, I know.
So when did you find out that Scott got married while he was in the military?
Sunday. What is that? 8th? I can't see that
Sunday.
far.
I'll help you. My eyes are about the same.
Yeah, I can see a little bit. Sunday the 8th.
So that's Sunday, July the 8th, 2018. You
Yeah.
found that your brother had been
Yeah,
married
welcome back.
Yeah.
and divorced.
Thank you for catching that
We
mistake on
believe,
my
I don't know
wall.
for sure. For the first time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there were some things you didn't know about your brother,
Sure.
right? And did you know that almost for your brother to do anything on that farm, he had to ask your dad for the debit card? Every time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know every time, but
Would it shock you if I showed you text message after text message?
it wouldn't shock me that if he needed a debit card, but I don't know if he had a card that like an account for the farm. I don't know. I mean, that was never discussed with me.
Would it shock you that your brother, Scott, so it was his trail cam out there. Did you ever go see the trail cam?
No.
When you guys were walking the property, would it shock you that the last picture before the input that says delete is your brother Scott walking away from that trail cam? Would that shock you?
No. I mean, why would it shock me?
Wait a minute. What? I was in the studio. What happened with what happened? Y'all tell me. I don't want to rewind it. What happened? What the guy with the brother walking away?
It wouldn't shock you that your brother deleted the trail cam the day you were looking for your father?
I mean, I don't know when that happened. If it was before, I don't.
No,
really
I'm talking right about 1 o'clock when you guys have called 911.
Right.
That he thinks to go to the trail cam and hit delete.
Yeah, I don't.
That's shocking,
I
isn't
don't
it?
really know the context of it, how that happened.
Did you know your brother had a drawer full of 38 special bullets?
Yeah, he told me
Yeah, and he had,
after this all happened.
like, how long after?
It was a while after. It was like a year, and we were just talking about things. And he said, "Yeah, I had some 38 caliber ammunition. It was some of it, it's kind of like a junk drawer." And my friends, one of my friends, because his buddies would come over and shoot at the farm, and they would bring their guns. And he said, "Yeah, that's where that ammunition came from."
Like tactical shooting. Did you ever see him do any drills of tactical shooting? Like on Facebook?
Oh yeah. Well, I noticed he would kind of, I mean, he was, how would you say, his form was, he'd be like kind of walking, things like that. So at tactical shooting, I remember seeing a video.
You've seen him do it?
Yeah.
He was pretty good at it, you'd say.
Scott's always, we used to go hunting and stuff. He's always been a good shot.
In the multiple interviews that you had in this case, I mean, there's things, Chris, I got to tell you, you're a pretty smart guy. You are. And you could see you along the way. You could see you along the way questioning even things that even the police weren't questioning. They asked you, like, how could your mother have moved your dad? And you just, I don't know. I don't think there's any way. Someone must have helped her.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you said. Do you remember saying that?
Oh, I don't remember saying that, but I don't think it's unreasonable that I might have said that.
Okay. Well, because, and I'm not going to convince you. I'm not trying to convince you of this. It's this jury right here that I'm mostly concerned about.
Sure, I understand.
But let's just legitimately talk about this. Your dad was how big?
I mean, he's bigger.
Because you're tall, but you're skinny.
I mean, I'm skinny. Let's not get crazy here, but
how much?
My dad was a big man.
How much do you weigh?
Right now, I weigh 245 pounds.
All right. How much did you weigh in 2018?
Probably Maybe probably about the same. Maybe
Okay.
235, maybe, I fluctuate between 230, 245, 250.
Let's talk about your brother. He's bigger than you, right?
He's taller than me.
Yeah. How much does he weigh?
I don't know. I bet probably, I don't know. I've never talked to him about how much he
Y'all
weighs.
are all big. Y'all are big dudes.
Right.
Okay. So, but he's probably, if he's taller than you, it's reasonable to say he's between 250 and 300 pounds.
Sure.
Okay. And your dad was about how tall and how much did he weigh?
I would say anywhere, he's my height, around 6'4", and he probably weighed, anywhere from 280 to 300 pounds, I would say.
On the heavier side, wouldn't?
Yeah.
Okay. So you legitimately, you were questioning even Hayes and Kuykendall. How could my mom do this? You don't have an answer to that, do you? Because how much does your mother weigh?
Maybe between 100 and 120 pounds, or I don't know how much he weighs now. I mean, but at the time, maybe somewhere between that. I don't know.
She's a little lady.
Never asked her.
How tall is your mama? She's a little lady.
5'5".
Oh, let me push mute. My bad.
You told the jury yesterday that when you left that evening, I mean, there was a lot of things that maybe you even blacked out on that day. It was a long day. I understand that. But you told the jury yesterday that as you were leaving, you couldn't even get a tank of gas because your checking account had been
Yeah.
bounced.
Not well. I can't remember if it was bounced or if it was like a security holder. I went. It said please see cashier, and I looked. I don't remember exactly what, but yeah, I think I told. I wasn't able to use it. Let's put it that way. And I didn't have a credit card on me.
Why did you, as time went on, you became the temporary executor of the estate and you lost it? Why did you lose that?
Oh, not he lost it. I don't know why I keep pausing like that. It's not
What was that taken from you?
I don't think it was necessarily. From what I remember, I don't think it was taken. It was just kind of agreed upon because obviously my sister Amanda and my mother were very much opposed to that of me, and so she had an attorney.
Wasn't it?
But I don't remember if it was taken from me or if we just all kind of agreed, like, okay, let's just do.
Did Barry Bishop or Jeff Rustbridge ever tell you it was because of your inability to manage the assets of the estate?
Nobody ever told me
that you were losing assets of the estate.
No, Barry Bishop and Jeff Rutcher. I mean, we had a conversation that basically said, well, your mother is accusing you of doing these things. And I said, I have no access to the funds of the estate. It's all frozen.
Your Honor, if I may have one brief moment.
Barry, he is very much a liar. So selective.
Yesterday, you said something that struck me, and I think it's important that I get your words right. You said something to the effect, Ms. Frankish asked you a question about the finances and your father passing. And I believe you said his kids would financially gain if he died.
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of fact. If your parents pass away, the money, like I have a will too. I have if something was to happen to me, my kids would, get what I have. I have life insurance, but both of my daughters' names on it.
I believe you said that they would be fine. You would be better off financially.
I don't remember saying that,
but you would be financially better off.
If what?
If you were to get the estate in this case. Because it's still held up,
Like
correct?
right now?
Like nothing, nothing's been able to access because, of course, this case is going on.
Yeah. No, I mean, nothing's been accessed at all.
Right.
So, I mean, it's what you
So you would financially benefit if your mother is convicted of murder.
you know, I guess you could say that.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Hi, Ms. Frazier.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome back, Sean P.
I want to talk about your mom a little bit. When you guys would have family gatherings, where would you find your mom? What would she be doing for the family?
She's usually in the kitchen.
Was that kind of like her domain? She liked to cook?
Yeah, I mean, she was always cooking at family gatherings. That was,
Would she cook for your dad too?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Weaver brought up guns quite a bit. Do you know anything about guns?
A little bit, you know, I had a couple guns I bought in 2020 and 2021. I've gotten to the hobby of shooting. You know, I'd go to the shooting range, and I had a buddy who managed the shooting, I think it's the shooting alley or quick shot in Buckhead. So he wouldn't charge me he'd just let me come. So, yeah.
Do you know enough to know the difference between a revolver and like a semi-automatic pistol?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ever know anybody in your family? Now, when I asked you this question, we already know about the 32, the older one in the barn. Did you know about that one?
Yeah.
Whose was that?
That was my grandfather's.
Okay. And did he have other kinds of pistols?
Yeah. Yes.
What did he have? Do you know?
I just remember him, because I spent a lot of time up in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Okay, so when he would close the hardware store, he armed himself, and it was almost like a shoulder. I don't know what the word is. Forgive me, but it's like a holster where you kind of put it around your arm, not around your waist, but kind of like, I don't know what that's called.
Like a backstrap type.
Right, and he had a revolver.
But you didn't know what kind.
I didn't know what kind. No.
When Scott's guns got stolen, around what year was that?
He would have just been back. If you can give me just a second to think about it.
Before 2012?
I would say probably so. Yeah.
Before 2016?
Yeah, I mean, because he was at Benning when he got back from Iraq. Like he was stationed there. You know, he lived in an apartment there.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
No objection.
Pretty close. That confusion you see is very feigned. He's only confused with stuff that makes him look bad.
Oh, sorry.
Pretty good. Instead, you gotta keep coming back, girl. You so sweet and nice to these people.
Does that appear to be a text message between you and your brother Scott?
Yes.
I hope we don't change
State
you.
moves to enter into evidence C. Ferris 1.
No objection.
If you could, well, I'm going to come back up to you because I don't have another copy of this. If you could read this to the jury for me and read the date and time.
On 7/10/2016 at 11:53 a.m., it looks like I texted my brother, "What kind of pistol do you have?" ? On 7/10/2016 at 12 p.m., he texted me, "I don't have one." Or don't have one. There's no I, it's just don't have one.
Thank you. Chris, do you recall ever seeing a revolver in any of the homes, in your Alpharetta home or the farm?
Yeah. I saw a revolver other than the 32 at my parents' house in Alpharetta, the Hampton Hall house, Ridgehaven Run, the house they lived in before the farm.
And where did you see that?
It was on the counter in the kitchen.
Do you know why it was there?
I don't know why. I had come over and it was sitting there. And I grabbed it and I actually, because it was just sitting out, and I grabbed it and I put it on top of the fridge. It was like a longer bird basket was up there and I put it up there. Yeah.
And was that did you say what kind of gun that was?
It was a revolver.
And have you ever seen it since then?
No, sir. No, ma'am. Sorry, me.
That's okay. Did you ever ask either of your parents about it?
I don't remember.
You mentioned that the kids could possibly gain if your dad passed away. Scott was living at the farm, and your dad was funding his life. Is that true?
Sure, yeah.
When your dad passed, who did the farm go to?
My mother.
So if your dad had passed, Scott would essentially be homeless.
Yes.
And your mom was the beneficiary of your dad's 401k?
Correct.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Very briefly. As to the gun back at the Hampton Hall house, what did it look like?
I remember it being like kind of like a shiny.
No, Betty Boo.
metallic.
The answer to that is no.
You know, like the metal of the gun.
Mhm.
It was kind of like shiny, and I almost remember it having like a, almost like an ivory handle to it.
Old gun?
Maybe I don't know. I'm not a gun history.
Not a gun
person.
guy.
Not a gun history person. You know, I know some stuff, but yeah.
Long nose or short nose?
Short nose.
Okay. And you know you've never told anybody in any of your interviews this before, right?
I don't know that.
Okay. That's all I have, Jeff. Well, hold on. Mr. Ray says I got something else.
Welcome back, Tracy. You came just in time. We're finna get to another witness finally. Chris, you ain't missed nothing but Chris lying.
That's all I have.
Anything else? I can sit down.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see how fast he
What do you
run
got,
out of there.
witness? Okay, let's bring them all in.
You know me.
J.E.
Finally, we got another family member.
Oh, ma'am,
Witness.
if you could please raise your right
I
hand.
think this is the
Do you
daughter-in-law.
swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in the matter now pending before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay, you can have a seat. And if you could, please introduce yourself to the jury and spell your first and last name for the court.
My name is Jenna Pawlowski, Jenna. Last name Pawlowski.
Thank you. And are you formerly Jenna Farris?
Correct.
Okay. Were you married to Chris Farris for a period of time?
That is correct.
How long?
About 6 years, almost 6 years. We're together for 13 years total.
Together for 13 total. And what years were you married?
2015, separated. 2021 in April, and finalized divorce December 2021.
If you could, you have a very soft voice. If you could please speak up just a little bit so
Yes.
all of the jurors can hear you. Okay. So you were married to Chris when his father was murdered. Is that
Correct.
Okay. What I want to talk about is we have a calendar up there, essentially that first week in July. And you and I have spoken briefly before today, right? Okay. Okay. So, do you remember what you did on Monday, July 2nd of 2018?
Monday, I believe I was at work.
Where did you work at the time?
Cooper Carey, architecture firm.
And did you have normal work hours?
8:30 to 5:30. It's downtown Atlanta.
And did the girls plan to come into town, Ella and Addison?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have a good relationship with them?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What day were they planning to come into town?
I don't remember the day
Okay.
exactly. I had just started that job about a year prior, so I remember working a lot that week and having the 4th as a holiday.
Okay.
But I do not remember what day exactly they were coming in.
So if the day of the 4th was the day of the pool party, the day before that would be the 3rd.
Right.
Were they there on the 3rd?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember talking to law enforcement at any point during the investigation of this case?
Only on the phone. Maybe within that week, on that weekend, that Saturday, I think, I was with my friend Carrie and her 2 nieces that were around the same age as Ella and Addie. And we had them at the pool, and I got a call from someone about the case, and they questioned me about Chris's whereabouts and where we had dinner. And that was the last time I heard anything.
Okay. During that interview, would you say your memory would have been better that week?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so if the girls were there on the 3rd, and you said that they were there on the 3rd in that interview, would that be accurate?
Yes, definitely.
So let's go into the night of the 3rd, the evening of the 3rd. Did you work on the 3rd?
I think so,
Okay.
yes.
So after work, when you came home, do you remember seeing Ella or Addison at your condo with Chris?
I believe yes, I remember seeing them. I know Ella wanted to go up to the farm, and I can't remember if she was already there or not. But I believe Addie, Chris, and I got dinner that night.
Do you know where you got dinner? You can just name a city if you don't.
It was around our condo in Buckhead where we lived. It was Asian. I don't know if it was sushi or some kind of Asian food, I think. I can't remember.
How long was your dinner that night?
Typical, maybe an hour or so. We didn't get any alcohol. It was one of those places I think you order and just sit down, or it's pretty in and out quick.
Okay.
So
what did you do after dinner?
as far as I can remember from 6 years ago, I went home back to the condo.
Okay. Do you remember if you went home alone and Chris and Addison went to go do something, or did you go do something with them after dinner? Maybe get ice cream?
I don't remember.
Okay. But that night, did you all stay at the condo?
Yes.
The 3 of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was it typical for Addison to sleep with you when she came to stay?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
We just had a king size bed, and I don't know. She just liked sleeping next to me.
Where would Chris sleep?
In the other bedroom.
In the other bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
So the next day was the 4th of July. Peachtree Road Race was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get up and go watch the Peachtree Road Race?
Yes. I remember waking up. It was maybe 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that time, maybe around 8. And we walked up because we lived in Buckhead, so we lived off Peachtree. So we walked up and watched the race go by, handed out waters and drinks, and watched everyone.
Who's we?
Addison and I and Chris was kind of, I can't remember exactly, but I don't think he walked up with us at first, but He was there.
He was there, and then maybe you guys met him there.
Right.
So we're on the 4th, the morning of the 4th. After the Peachtree Road race, do you remember what you guys did?
No, I really don't. I want to say we went to the pool. Other than that, there's really nothing that sticks out was any different than any other 4th of July.
Sure. When you were at the pool, was it you, Chris, and Addison?
Yes.
Did Chris and Addison leave at any point?
I really don't remember.
Do you remember you and I talking about those days
Yes.
on Zoom? We met.
Yes.
we
Yes.
Chatted on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. And did I tell you what to say or anything? How to
No.
answer questions?
No.
Okay.
No.
And we talked about in 2018 on the 4th of July, Chris taking Addison to the farm.
Right.
Would that sound?
Yes, because Ella was there and she wanted to go up there too.
Ella was up north at the farm.
Somewhere up there.
Somewhere. Okay, and that's okay that you don't remember all these details.
Yeah.
So, do you remember, was it afternoon, evening, nighttime when Chris and Addison went up to the farm?
I believe late afternoon, possibly into the evening.
How long were they gone?
Not long, it was maybe a 45, 50-minute drive from Buckhead up there. So about whatever, double that. I'd imagine he dropped her off and said hi to someone, or he came right back.
Chris came back?
Yes.
Was Addison with him?
No.
So then what did you and Chris do when he came back?
We hung out with our neighbors where we lived and just shot off some fireworks. They shot off some fireworks in the parking lot. That was it. Stayed around our condo.
Did Chris ever leave again that night?
On the 4th?
Yes.
No.
Did he leave the house the night of the 3rd?
To drop Addison off?
After dinner, did he ever leave again?
Not that I knew or heard or, no.
So on the 4th, you guys just went to bed.
Yep.
And then, did you have to work the next day on the 5th?
Yes, I remember that.
So what happened on the 5th that stands out in your mind? Did you get a phone call?
Yes, so I was at work and it was about 12:30, give or take. And Chris called me and all he said was, "You have to come to the farm right now and get the girls."
And what did you do?
I said, "Is everything okay?" And all he did was repeat the exact same sentence. And I said, which was, "You have to come to the farm and get the girls." And so I left. I told my boss at the time I had an emergency. I have to go. So drove up there, was extremely worried and crying, and called my mom and told her, wasn't sure what was going on. And I got a text message that said, "My dad is gone." And
From who?
from Chris, as I was exiting off 400, and I just started crying. And I got to the farm and there were tons of people everywhere. And my only focus, I was driving my Camry, my only focus was just to protect Ella and Addie and make sure Chris was okay. And I had no idea what was going on. I don't think he knew either. He was visibly shaking. He was so distraught.
Chris.
His voice was shaking. He was just in shock, I could tell, in complete and utter shock. I had no idea what had happened. So all I did, I took the girls, and Ella and Addie were sitting there Addie was very quiet. She didn't have her phone with her. Ella kept asking, what's going on? What happened? Why won't anyone tell me what happened? And then that's when Kendall Lee called me, the girl's mother, and talked on the phone with Ella and explained. She wasn't on speaker, but I still heard her, said, Ella, Big Daddy's no longer with us. And Ella sat there. And at this time, we had kind of pulled over off the driveway. And Ella just was on the phone, said, okay. And after that, I really don't remember what we talked about, but I took them back to Buckhead, to our condo. And from that day forward, when they were here, I just wanted them to have a normal, be kids. And we took them to Main Event. We took them to just things like that, Cheesecake Factory. And I just wanted them to get away from all of that and not have to worry about that and enjoy their summer. And unfortunately, they couldn't really be with their dad because he was having to deal with all of this. So.
Did you also bring Cameron back with you?
Yes. Yeah, she came with us too. Mm-hmm.
So after that, did you see Melody again?
Yes.
When?
I'm trying to remember. She was in our condo unit in the hallway. I don't remember why or which day, but she gave me a hug and was hugging the girls, and that's really all I can remember. I don't know why, the circumstances, who was doing what.
Sure. Did she say anything to you that stood out that time?
She said, I can't believe this is happening to our family. And it was just a very weird feeling. Ever since I picked the girls up and had been, I don't know, it was just a weird feeling. It's just something did not sit right overall, just with everything.
Did Melody ever confront you and Chris about money, owing her money?
Yes. So after everything not calmed down, but I think about a couple weeks later, she started text messaging me about bills that Gary had paid for.
Thank you for
like
coming
our
through.
Comcast bill at the time. Did I know about them? And I said no. That was basically it.
Okay.
And it was things that she was saying, I can tell you more, I can show you more, and show you what's going on, or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was things like that I just wanted to avoid and get away from. I just did not want to be involved unless I needed to.
When you and I met, you had some information that you thought people needed to know, but you didn't get the opportunity to say back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. So I sort of just asked you, okay, what is that information?
Mm-hmm.
So at any point, well, let me ask you this. In the weekend prior to the first week of July, so June,
Mm-hmm.
was it Gary's birthday?
We were celebrating his birthday and Father's Day, I think, all kind of on that, whatever day we were there, Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, so prior to?
Yeah. It was late June.
Late June.
Mm-hmm.
And at that gathering, I will say, did you and Melody hang out with each other and converse?
Not specifically to be alone, but we were, I don't remember where. I think we were walking outside in the basement, towards the basement, the double doors out there. So I think, I want to say there was something in the kitchen that maybe was redone or remodeled, or there was something new down there that I was looking at, or she wanted me to look at, I think. I can't remember why, but.
And what stood out to you about that encounter?
Well, I walked down there and the whatever credenza, I don't remember exactly where, but she opened the drawer and she said, "This is my granddaddy's gun." And I said, or revolver. And I said, I don't even remember what I said because it was so, I don't know why. I don't know why, but I just kept moving on. So
And when we met, I showed you a couple of photos. What room in the house was this?
this was the first room when you walked down to the basement.
And when we met, I showed you a couple of photos so you could identify. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Okay.
I'm showing you states Thrasher 45 and defense exhibit Thrasher D1. Are these similar to the images that I had showed you?
Yes.
Okay. And is that piece of furniture in either of these photos?
Yes.
Which photo?
I want to say this first one, the kitchen to the left.
Is that Thrasher 45?
Yes, Thrasher
Okay, and I'm gonna go
45.
ahead and publish that one real quick so you can.
Okay.
Okay, this is the photo you identified?
Yes.
Okay, and which piece of furniture did Melody open to show you the gun?
The wooden cabinet on the left.
Do you know much about guns?
No.
Do you know was it a long gun, short?
Shorter.
What did it look like?
It was kind of curved.
Sure. What was the color?
I want to say like a silver color. I don't remember.
Do you know the difference between a semi-automatic pistol, like what police carry, versus like a cowboy gun?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Which one did it look like?
Like the cowboy one.
The cowboy one?
Mm-hmm.
And when we met, did I show you 3 different photos of a cowboy gun?
Yes.
3 different versions? And did you identify one that it may have looked like?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, state moves to admit J. Farris 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
John, I'm gonna
Alright,
show you.
Wouldn't go out. But
Right.
we'll deal with that later. All right.
One of them is,
We'll deal with that later.
yes. That is fine. Okay, this is one that I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna keep them all up here. And this is the other one, and then the third. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can get that third one up here. Okay, and you identified one when we met. Whoops, there we go. Out of 1, 2, and 3, which one did it look like?
I really don't remember which one.
So when we met, you had sort of mentioned it looked like J. Farris 2. Would that be accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Again, do you know much about guns?
I really don't.
Do all revolvers may look the same to you?
I didn't even get a great look, and correct, yes, I really have not ever handled any or been around them ever.
Had you ever seen this gun before?
No.
Did you ever see it again?
No.
And law enforcement, you didn't get the opportunity to tell law enforcement about this. Is that fair?
No. And I was never contacted.
Was the family, did you and Chris have conversations about talking to the police or not talking to the police or anything like that?
It was just mainly him keeping in touch with the detective, and once he was off the phone, he would just update me on what the news story, or not news story, but what happened,
Sure.
what was going to happen, what the next steps were. But there wasn't anything that we discussed that wasn't already out there.
That's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, looks like a good time to break for lunch.
Okay, good.
Let's go for.
So, what's wrong with her?
Y'all be back.
Girl, she act like she just did the worst, the hardest thing ever. I gotta come back and read all y'all comments. But look, this is what we're gonna do. I found this is at, let me write down this timestamp. Hold on, I got a notepad started. I should have been started in a notepad, but hey, I'm gonna start doing that on my trial watch so we can, well, anywho, y'all already know. So let me see. Let me really quickly, I have it. I found the layout of the house. And the deeper we get into this, now we saw it on day 2, but now it's like really playing a part. So let me put the timestamp here we're on, so I won't lose it. Sorry for the typing. And again, you guys, while I'm doing this, did I tell y'all how much I am loving? I didn't fell in love with the gel polish thing, girl. If I tell y'all, I'll be glad when I come on camera. Y'all gonna see. I'll be buying them little fake press-on nails, girl. I'll be doing these nails and painting them all different kind of colors every other day. Every other day. My honey say, "You doing your nails again?" I say, "Yep." Yep. And what about it? Am I hurting you? Is this bothering you? Let's see. Okay, so I should have it queued up. We're gonna take a look at this floor plan, okay? And the pictures of this house. Some of the pictures of this house. I got it right here. How many hours is this? This was the 8:23. Why isn't it? Let's say you go to history. I just pulled it up on my phone. Okay. Oh, because on my YouTube, I'm on this channel. Okay, so let me push mute. Hold on.
Library.
You go up the steps and go to the second floor.
Correct.
Now going to that fireplace is standing. Is this the view you would see in 9, looking back?
Correct.
Okay, so they're going through the house, y'all.
kind of moving, if the fireplace is to my back, to the left, is this another view? So you see there's other doors going out to the other side of the house.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure technically if you drive up the driveway and go through, if you could drive through the garage, it's kind of north. So you got the east side, which is the pond.
Sorry about the
west side.
buffering.
But both sides of this house had a deck. Is that right?
Yes.
One over the pond is round, the other one's not.
Correct.
All right. Looking at 11, where we're standing here, I walk down this hallway with the library or study room be on my right.
Yes.
And then what's the door here to the left that's open? Where's that lead to?
That goes down to the basement.
Where this is at, I have the mouse, the hand. Did you find what you believe to be blood or blood droppings?
Yes, on the just closest to where the landing ends before you go downstairs.
And I believe there are about 12 steps down. There's a landing, you turn right, and then 4 steps down. Is that right?
Yes.
Tell the jury what you found, what type of blood evidence or evidence you found on those steps.
It appeared to be blood that possibly was attempted to be, or someone tried to clean it up, possibly. It was very dilute looking.
And then once you got on the floor down below, is this the basement where there's a bar?
Yes.
Now, if I walked out.
The basement even had a bar, a media room, an office, a
The bar
bedroom,
just
a
right here.
bathroom.
Yes.
He was living
And
good
kind of
down
to the
there.
right is the living room area.
Yes.
This is Thrasher 13. I'm standing what I call those the American doors. They kind of just slide like this.
Yes.
You know, I call them the American doors. You slide. If I'm standing in front of those doors, looking back to the steps. Is the steps right here where this pointer is?
Correct.
And
Pause.
this hallway. If you went down that.
This is the basement, you guys. Okay? This is the basement. And from the pictures they showed of the home, right? And I hope they show it again. The house is actually like the first floor. This is the basement. And it was like kind of like ground level, right? Like outside level, right? Like where the first floor level would normally be. But they called that the basement. The home itself, the first floor that they actually called the first floor, outside the house, you know, when going to the front door, you had to walk upstairs. You had to walk upstairs to go to the front door and that first floor. And then from in there, they had steps to upstairs, the second floor. But the ground floor was called the basement. Baby, he probably shared that bathroom with the wife just so he can see her. Okay. The burn pile, the basement is on regular outside level. It's not like when I think about basements, I thought that basements, like you got to go downstairs and it's underground or something. But this was actually not underground, right? It was like literally what we would call, like, let's say a split level, right? Like a 3-level house. I would think this would be the ground level, then the next floor, then the second, you know. Child, I don't know. I ain't seen, baby, this basement was big. Wait till they show the floor plan. On the floor plan, you can notice that the basement is as long as the house.
Came down this hallway will lead to his office.
No, in Texas, we don't have basements. Okay.
Room.
Yes.
Standing.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. She could drag them outside.
Kind of at steps.
This is
the
double
area
doors
here that we're going to be talking about.
Yes. It had a couch and chair.
Now, this is from the internet for the house, but this is Thrasher 15. At the bottom of this photograph, what is here that I've got the pointer on?
The garage.
And then there's a mud room and laundry room you're referring to?
Yes.
Porch, the front door here.
Correct.
Standing at the front door again. Turn right, goes to what area?
The kitchen area.
You turn left, comes down to, I think there's.
Yes, it make more sense. And that's why we got to get fresh eyes on the case sometime, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think that was, I want to say, who was that asked that question about, was it, it wasn't until somebody, one of the jurors asked that question about doors to the outside that I was like, dang, that really does make sense. And I never thought about that before. Let me see if I can, I'm going to scan it real quick and see if I can find the picture. Oh, there you go. There you go, right there. Okay, I'm going to go right here because they're going to show like where the entry is at to the basement. So let's watch this part here and then we'll get back to the testimony.
So we had walked around the back first.
And I'm going to go get
and then
still
I came
shots
back
too.
and started photographing once tasked to do that.
This is the first one, I think, in your series, 47,
Yes.
48, 49. And what do we have down here? What type of livestock can you tell?
I think it's goats. Goats looks like. I don't recall the goats from the time period, but they made it.
Why
in my
does that
pictures.
matter?
All right. 50, what is this?
The front door, leading to the front door.
51, you're going to be walking
look.
this around the,
Right
around
here.
the house.
No, go back.
2, 3.
Wait. Let's go back. They didn't say it, but at some other point in time, I remember them saying it. So let me point it out to you guys. Damn. Where is the
4,
picture?
5,
Hold on.
6. Stairs.
Correct.
Damn. Man, they went past it so fast when they were showing the outside deal. It's hard to catch it. Oh my God. Let me see. I might not be able to find it again. Anywho, they just showed the side view of the house, and that's exactly what they said. This is the outside door to the basement where his office was at. And that's what I was trying to find because they just kind of like skipped past it just now. But, oh, okay, it's somewhere right here. So let me just go right here.
So we had walked around the back first, and then I came back and started.
Wait a minute, y'all, because this is the very reason why we're looking for this.
This is the first one, I think, in your series, 47.
Yes.
I'm going to hit pause.
48, 49. And what do we have down here? What type of livestock can you tell?
Why are you worried about them goats?
Goats looks like. I don't recall the goats from the time period, but they made it in my picture. So.
All right. 50, what is this?
The front door.
Okay,
leading
right
to
here.
The front door.
Right here. Okay. All right. So this is what it's a very nice property, right? Hey, I'm bothered. So welcome back. Look right here at the okay. Y'all see this? Let me use my professional pointer. Hold on. Let's see. Now, why it's not doing? Why my pointer not working?
51, you're going to be walking.
Pointer not working. Anywho, y'all see right here underneath that what you call it thing outside? You see that deck over there to the right? Underneath the deck to the right there, down there where them pillars at, that's the walk-in entrance to the basement. So when y'all was asking where the outside deal is, that when we talk about this basement, that whole bottom level there is the basement. And that's where, from those pictures, those double doors that they call the American doors, that's where they at, and they face out right there. And so do y'all see how I was trying to explain it, how the basement is actually like You know, they just built I don't know how to describe it, but y'all got it. Okay, y'all got it. Welcome back, Unbothered. We finally got to another witness. We got to what's her name? Jenna Pawlowski, whatever her name is, the ex-wife, but she was the wife of Chris, who we watched last night at the time. Hold on, let me get back to where we was at. And she really didn't give, I really gathered too much from her. Lit Lane Jury Box, did we get anything of importance from her testimony so far? Because they went to lunch. When they come back, it's gonna be the cross-examination. Y'all let me know in the comments if we garnered any important information from her. I don't think so. Okay, I think this is where we're at. Day 5. No, day oh Lord. Well, I can't find the one we was just on. This day 2, that's not it. This can't be it because it say day 4. Let me look at my sticky note. Child, I didn't even put what day it was. Oh, day 4. Okay, here we go. Okay, let me see what y'all saying. Show the tractor. Dang, I had to find the tractor. The basement is actually underground.
So we
just
can
have a
get up and running by
walkout.
1:30.
Okay, I'll find a picture of the tractor. I don't know why I'm hollering. I've been acting real special here lately. Hold on. I don't know why I'm hollering at y'all. Let me see. Let me passport all their lunchtime break. Damn, that was a long lunch. Okay, here we go. Best of Trial Watch with Demetra Lit all day. Shout out to the Lit Lane Jury Box as we break this case all the way down. Let me see. I'll take this off. Okay.
Divorce was finalized in December 2021.
Okay. Was that because he was having
I think, and somebody Tracy asks, why do we think they divorced now? I think they got a divorce because Big Daddy Warbucks was dead. And he was the one who was financing everything. Okay. And if the probate and everything was tied up due to the circumstances of questioning how he died, like with this trial, criminal case going on, that pretty much means that probate, the estate was going to be held frozen, right? So can y'all imagine what type of lifestyle she went from? Because Chris was definitely, all of them was definitely smoozing, not smooching, off of the daddy. So once the well ran dry, the marriage ran dry. That's my thoughts. They like to check that. Nope, she didn't remember anything like Chris. Okay. Oh, that's the one thing they liked, is that they like to. The basement is actually an underground. It just has a walkout. Nothing except the mother got look at all them damn bills that her husband was paying and called about it, right? I think she got. Oh yeah, because she found it. That's right. I think she got him out through the basement. Yeah, y'all seem to be switching up on Melody. I'm Team Melody. I don't care what nobody say. Miss Steph 219, she used the bucket on the tractor, went up under him, lifted him up, and took him to the burn pile. Oh Lord, the Lit Lane Jury Box is turning on Melody. I wonder if the stress of passing her father broke up Chris and Jenna's. The stress of being broke. Let's continue. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to do the Lit Lane jury box poll tonight. Cause I think I can smell the winds a changing. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Back into the action here. Let me refresh my coffee. I'm here.
Well, they didn't say she was going to be in the gazebo. Well, they didn't say she was going to be in the gazebo. Hey, we ready to proceed? All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. And your last name is Podolsky?
Pulowski.
I'm sorry. My name is John Luke Weaver, and I, along with Michael Ray, represent Melody in this case. So I want to talk about some things, kind of going back and, we're going to go ahead and talk about the guns. Leave that up now, because I'm going to ask you to switch it over to the Elmo. So earlier you stated, so there was, you believe you saw a revolver.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to take this mouse, this purplish magenta mouse, and you tell me where to stop. Which one you think you saw?
It was either that one or the one with the brown.
This one or this one or this one?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't remember the colors.
Okay. But not this one.
No.
Okay, so longer muzzle, not the shorter muzzle, not a snub nose.
From what I can remember.
Right, and that's all I'm asking, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Now, Judge, if we can switch over to the element. Thank you, Judge. You show me where the button is. I'll come up there and do it.
I'm trying to get a button installed down there. That's part of the source of my frustration.
Okay. Let's see, back up here. All right, so this is a report in the state. You've stipulated to the admissibility of this report?
Yes, no objection.
So I would ask to admit this as Jenna 1.
All right, that's it.
You went to the district attorney's office on August the 27th, so a little more than a month ago, yes? Of this year?
Is this the virtual meeting?
I don't know. Was it a virtual meeting? This is a report regarding you talking to the DA's office about this gun.
I don't. Is this,
Well, I'm not
was
saying
this
that
was this the phone call that I had to come here?
I'm not, ma'am. I
don't know what you're asking.
I'm just going to read the report. Okay, it says on August the 27th, 2024, at approximately 14:48 hours, I requested to attend a Zoom meeting with Jenna Podolsky. Present for the meeting was ADA Megan Frankish and DCA DA Jeffrey Fogus. Ms. Podolsky is the ex-wife. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Ms. Podolsky is the ex-wife of Christopher Farris, the son of Gary and Melody Farris. During the course of the meeting, Ms. Podolsky advised of the time when the defendant showed her a gun, specifically a revolver. Once when she was at the home of either Father's Day or Gary's birthday, both having just occurred in June, the month before Gary's death. She never handled the weapon, and it was merely a quick glance of the weapon when they were in the basement for other reasons. So is that a true statement?
Right. So
Okay.
this was the Zoom meeting that I had with them.
Okay. And it says then the following 3 photos were shown to her. And of the 3 weapons shown, and without certainty, she identified the black metal and wood-handled revolver as the one that looked most similar to the gun Melody showed her in the basement.
Okay.
Okay? And then you noted that there was, where the gun was located in the basement, which I believe there was a picture of earlier.
A picture of
Where you think you found, where you were when you saw the gun?
in the basement.
In the basement. All right. So, do you find it interesting that you never told anybody about a gun in the basement?
Nobody ever called me.
Nobody ever called you on this case? You never were interviewed?
I was interviewed shortly after.
Sure.
At that time, it was a week after this had happened, and my main focus was taking care of those girls and making sure they were okay and going into good wife mode and being there for my husband at the time. I really didn't think about anything else other than protecting them and being there for them.
All right. So, you were interviewed. You remember that?
Over the phone.
Over the phone. Do you remember anything about that interview?
We talked about where Chris and I and Addie ate dinner.
Okay. Do you remember telling them in that interview that you slept with Addie that night and that Chris slept by himself?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also remember in that interview telling the police that you and Addie met Chris out at the Peachtree Road Race? He texted you.
No, I don't remember those details.
All right. Your Honor, I've got to play the recording, if that's okay with you. We don't have a transcript of it that I know of.
Is testimony that she doesn't remember?
That's what she testified to. She doesn't remember. Your Honor, at this time I would admit, how long is the video, Michael? Or the recording?
The whole audio recording is 20 minutes.
I think it would be best to play the whole recording.
No, not to refresh her recollection of, how much you wanted to ask her.
You got the timestamp on the question?
For the road race, you're probably looking at.
Hey, why don't you ask her all the other questions you want to ask her about the interview and see if she remembers anything of that, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So you don't remember that you told the investigator in that case that he was out at the road race and you and Addie met him out at the road race?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. But you do remember that she slept with you that night?
I do. Mm-hmm.
All right. And but in that interview, you also stated that he couldn't have left. How would you know?
How would I know if he left or not? Our
Right.
house?
Yes,
I would hear
yes,
him.
ma'am.
I would
When you
hear
were asleep?
him. With Addie, I didn't sleep very much. So yeah, I probably would have heard him.
Probably.
Yes, the way that our door shut at the time, the condo that we lived in, I would have definitely heard. He's a big guy. He's 6'4". When he would walk around, I could hear him.
And in that interview, I think you concluded the interview with something to the effect of, "Can I get off the phone now?" Do you remember saying that?
Probably, yeah, I remember.
Why is that?
Because this is stressful. This is extremely overwhelming and scary and awful.
You're no longer married to Chris, correct?
Correct.
When did you divorce?
We separated in April of 2021, and the divorce was finalized in December 2021.
Okay. Was that because he was having addiction issues?
It was for several reasons.
And what were those reasons?
What does that have to do with this?
Well, ma'am, you have to answer the question.
Okay. We divorced. We were together for 13 years, married for 6, and he did have addiction issues. However, that was not the main reason. We had financial issues. We had to move out of our house. There was a lot of emotional damage done by then, by April, and therefore I felt like that wasn't what I wanted to be a part of, a marriage. I didn't think that's what marriage was, and I decided that I needed to step away and do what's best for me.
Did you struggle with any substance abuse issues?
No.
Can we switch back over to the other? I learned a lesson.
Behave. That is not me. That is this man. But look, he slid that in on her real smooth, like, right? Child. Is that what it sounds like when I be typing out loud?
Trying to get to a picture of the basement. So this bar, you're saying this piece of this furniture right here is where you saw the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you see the gun above the door here?
Yes.
So you're talking about a historic gun that was Miss Walker's or Mr. Walker's gun. Grandfather, her father, Chris's grandfather's gun, correct? That's the story you told.
Yes. I mean, you're saying that I'm talking about that gun?
Yes, ma'am, I am. That is a historic gun owned by Mr. Walker.
I never noticed it, and I don't know.
Oh my God, they made her cry.
Don't you find it unusual that you didn't bring this story up to anybody for 6 years until August of 2024?
No, because when I divorced my husband, my ex-husband, no one had contacted me about any of this, and I didn't think that my role was important in anything.
Did Chris ever promise you any money? Of course, if Melody gets convicted,
I think she feel beat up.
Would stand to inherit quite a lot of money. That you would get a lot of money.
No.
Okay. Did Chris ever tell you that he saw a revolver at his parents' house in 2011, 2012?
Not that I remember, no.
And that it was a silver revolver?
No.
A snub-nosed revolver?
I don't know what that...
With a white handle?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Are you aware that Scott Farris says he found a revolver in this drawer?
No.
That looks nothing like any of the revolvers that you've described.
Okay.
Child, if this
Your
is
Honor,
not
would this be an
TV
appropriate time
court,
to play the brief snippet?
How y'all want to handle it? Y'all want to send the jury out and do that?
It won't take, I mean,
All right, y'all step out.
Baby. Somebody said it yesterday that the defense is giving me everything I need and more. Okay, I don't know who said that yesterday, baby, but you hit that on the head. This cross-examination, I cannot wait to see the cross-examination of the one who they said may have actually done it. I can't wait. I hadn't seen it. I only saw as far as this much. Ooh, y'all being hard on her. She is lying. Let her off the stand so she can go grab her a drink. Child. When they say, yeah, he called you a drunk
We have
and
a couple of
shit,
jurors
you
who
saw
are
the
trying to
old
get
rifle
steps
hanging over
in,
the door.
but when we're doing stuff in the courtroom while
I feel bad
All right,
for
Samantha, go ahead.
Jenna.
Mr. Plessy, we
Oh my
refreshed your
God.
memory with a recording that you had with Detective Kuykendall back in July of 2018 on this break. And now I'm going to ask you the question again. Do you remember that Chris was already out at the Peachtree Road race and that you and Addie came out about 9 or 10? He texted you to come out to the race. So that means he was alone from bedtime all the way up to 9 or 10.
He was at our condo.
Well, he was also at the race. Do you know what time he went to the race?
Probably around 8, I would guess.
But you don't know.
I don't know exactly.
Because you slept in, yes?
Correct.
All right. So you don't know when he left that apartment that morning.
He texted me when he did.
He texted you to come out. He testified earlier that he was out there much earlier than 9 or 10.
He was out there earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
I really don't remember the exact timeline. So what I said on the call is probably more accurate than what I'm trying to remember 6 years ago, because I've been trying to push this out of my brain ever since the divorce was finalized. So I've been making every effort I can to forget about everything. So that's why I'm struggling to really give you an exact time when Chris got up and walked out to the Peachtree Road race.
And Judge, that's all I have for this witness.
Frank, anything else?
Just briefly, Judge. Jenna, did you know Gary Farris?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to see Chris and Gary around one another?
Yes.
And did Chris love his father?
Yes.
Would he have ever wished him to be gone?
No, never.
Did he ever express to you that he wanted his money more than his father?
No, absolutely not.
That's all I have. Thank you, Judge.
All right, anything else? No, you're okay. You can sit down. Thank you, ma'am.
Run, Jenna. Run,
next witness.
Jenna. Run. Go get you a drink, girl. It's going to be all right.
Philip Samples.
It's gonna be all right.
Philip Samples.
Who the hell is Philip Samples? We might skip over Philip Samples, child. He don't sound like he related.
I'll just stretch. You're welcome to get stretched again, but I'm going to.
I don't know who this is. The last person I knew was that her.
He is.
Okay, let's see who he is. Let's see who he is, y'all. He might not be no best of, but we're going to see. We're going to give him a moment and try. Hold on.
Ferris,
Yes.
did you?
Your guns.
Damn, they be getting on this stand fast.
He is.
Must be a short hallway. Once again, shout out to the jury box for having excellent chat and
Before you have a seat, if you could
observations
please
and
raise your
questions
hand.
and
Do you swear or
comments,
affirm the testimony you're about to give
perspectives.
in the matter now pending before the court?
Shout out to
The
y'all.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help. Help you got.
Yes.
Okay, you can have a seat. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Philip Samples.
Mr. Samples, how is it that you know Scott Ferris?
Met him through my wife before we got married almost 9 years ago.
What's your wife's name?
Randy Samples.
Okay, I'm gonna have you scoot a little bit closer to that microphone. Thank you. Okay, and how did Randy and Scott know each other?
I believe that they met a couple years before that Randy and I got together. My wife worked at a restaurant, so they met at the restaurant and became friends from there.
What is your wife's maiden name?
Pierce.
And does she have any siblings?
She has an older brother.
What's his name?
Ted Pierce.
Are Scott and Ted also friends?
Correct.
And is Scott close to the Pierce family?
He is.
And that would include you now.
Absolutely.
So how long have you known him?
Met Scott.
No, we didn't skip over the walkout basement, but we don't have to skip, no problem.
Okay, so 2015-ish?
Ish, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Sure. And were you with Scott? What kind of things would you do with Scott?
Play golf, shoot guns, bowling, campfires, normal, regular, fun stuff outside.
Where would you shoot guns?
At the farm.
What kind of guns would you shoot? Would you shoot?
Typically just shotguns, shooting at targets, stuff like that.
Did you ever know Scott to shoot a revolver?
Off the best of my knowledge, no.
So you like to play golf,
Absolutely.
and how frequently would you guys play golf?
At least 2 to 3 times a month, as much as possible.
I want to take you back 6 years to July of 2018, that week of the 4th, so Monday through Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you do for work?
I'm in construction.
And did you do that back then as well?
I did.
You had the same job?
Different jobs, same industry.
Okay. Did you have to work that week?
I did.
Did you go to work on Monday, July 2nd?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to work on Tuesday, July 3rd?
Partially, yes, ma'am.
Okay. What did you do on July 3rd?
July 3rd, I went to work when I was working in Houston, Georgia at the time. Worked about a half a day. Most of the crews from the job site left early that day, being that it was 4th of July early, the next day. So I left midday and headed to the lake house.
Where's the lake house?
In Dawsonville.
Whose lake house is it?
My mother-in-law's, Nancy Pierce.
So that would be Randy and Ted's mom.
Correct.
Okay. And you said that was in Dawson?
Yes, ma'am.
Dawsonville, Dawson County?
Dawson County.
Okay. On what lake?
Lake Lanier.
So you headed up there in the afternoon, early afternoon?
Early afternoon. It was after lunch.
Who was there when you got there?
My family, Nancy, Ted, Randy, Scott, and I can't remember who else, but there were people in and out.
What did you do when you were there?
Went out on the lake. We like to surf. We like to just spend time floating on the water.
And Scott was with you?
Correct.
Around what time did you leave the lake that evening?
I stayed the night that evening.
You spent the night?
Yes, ma'am.
Who spent the night with you?
It would have been my mother-in-law, Nancy, Ted, my wife, and our daughter.
And your daughter, who was how old at the time?
Not even 1 yet.
Did Scott spend the night?
He did not spend the night.
Okay. What time do you remember did he leave?
It was late in the evening. I don't remember the exact time, but it was very late.
So after 9?
Absolutely.
After 10?
Can't say for sure, but
After 11?
Late.
Okay. So maybe after 10. Did he stay past midnight?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay. What time did you go to sleep that night?
Probably much after midnight.
Okay. But when you were awake, Scott left?
No, he was still there at the time, I believe.
Did he leave when you were awake, or did he leave after you went to bed?
I believe he left before we went to bed.
Okay. So that was the night of the 3rd.
Correct.
And did you guys have plans for the 4th?
We did.
Did you have plans with Scott?
We did.
What were those plans?
We had golf at 7 o'clock in the morning on the 4th.
Where were you going to golf?
Hampton Golf Village
Where's that?
in Cumming, Georgia.
Cumming is a big place. So
Okay.
can you narrow it down a little bit?
Yes, it's just off of Highway 400, right next to Hubbardtown Road, Setting Down, Jotham Down area.
So east towards Hall County.
Correct.
Slightly
Yeah.
east. When you get off 400, you go east.
Correct.
And your tea time was
7 o'clock in the morning.
7 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you go there with?
Scott and Ted.
Did you ride with Scott?
No, ma'am.
Okay, who did you ride with?
Ted.
And when you got there, what time was it?
About 6:45.
Okay. And who was there when you got there?
Scott was there.
He was already there. Did you communicate with him prior to that morning?
Just that we were heading to the golf course.
And how did you communicate with him?
Called him. Typically, if we play golf early in the morning, we all call each other and make sure we're moving.
How long does it take you to play a round of golf? 18 holes.
18 holes, average 4.5 hours.
Did you play 18 on July 4th, 2018?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were with Scott the whole morning.
Correct.
What time did you finish?
We teed off at 7. We would have been wrapping up around 11:30.
Where did you go after you finished your round of golf?
Back to the lake house in Dawsonville.
That same lake house?
Correct.
Your mother-in-law's lake house?
Yes.
Who went?
Scott and Ted.
And you?
Correct.
Who
Myself.
else was there?
My wife was still there with my daughter, and can't remember if anybody else showed up off the top of my head.
What did you do when you got there?
Back onto the lake, floating, surfing, enjoying the water.
And once you were all kind of tired of the water, did you go see fireworks? What did you do that evening? Did you cook out?
On the 4th, my wife and I left around 6-ish because we had to get back to the house with our daughter, and I had to work the next day.
Who was there when you left?
Nancy, Scott, Ted, and again, I can't remember who else was there.
So throughout the time that you were with him on the 3rd at the lake, did Scott ever leave and come back?
Not to my knowledge.
On the 4th, when you were with him from golf from that morning till about 7 a.m. till when you left the lake house first around dinner time between 6 and 7, did he ever leave and come back?
Not to my knowledge.
Those are all the questions I have for you. Thank you.
So he is definitely an alibi witness for Scott, who we haven't heard from yet.
Correct.
Correct.
My name
And
is John
Tom-
Luke
let me be
Weaver,
quiet.
and I, along with Michael Ray, represent Melody Farris. I want to talk to you a little bit. How long have you been friends with Scott?
Roughly 9 years.
Before 2018?
Yeah, roughly. Before then, I mean, that was 6 years ago, so roughly 3+ years, just give or take.
Okay, all right. So did, in all y'all's time as friends, did Scott talk to you at all about his time in the military?
Very sporadic, but yeah,
Yeah. What did he tell you?
that he spent time in Iraq. I mean,
Okay.
we didn't go into the details, stuff like that. So
All right. Did he ever tell you that he had experience with burned bodies in Iraq?
not to my knowledge.
Never brought that up to you? Okay. And any type of weapons that he used?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Did he tell you that he'd been previously married?
I did know that, yes.
Okay. How did he tell you that?
I believe just in conversation one night, sitting down with my soon-to-be wife and Scott, just it got brought up in conversation.
And that they were divorced. And what did you know back then about his life? Like how he made a living? What was he doing?
He worked on the farm.
He worked on the farm. Did you think he was getting a paycheck, or how do you think he was making money?
Didn't ask, none of my business.
Okay. Were you aware that on the morning of the 4th, which is when you guys played golf, early tee time because it's hot, summertime, you got to start early, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So y'all get there at 7, maybe even a little before. But are you aware that he had, for his round of golf, he had to use his father's credit card? Did you know that?
I did not.
Didn't see it?
I didn't. I don't. Pay
Oh,
attention to
Lord,
people's
here we go.
issues.
Okay. And y'all played golf. And well, let's back up. Let's go to the 3rd. That day, when did y'all play golf on the 3rd?
I didn't play golf on the 3rd.
All right. When did you run into Scott on the 3rd?
After I got to the lake house from work.
Okay. He was already there.
Yes.
And what, if anything, what was his demeanor like that evening?
Standard Scott. Happy,
What is standard Scott?
Happy to be around his friends. Happy to be enjoying the lake.
Okay. So y'all were. How much did you see him drink that night?
Not
Couple
much.
beers.
A couple beers.
Any whiskey? Any bourbon? Crown Royal? Anything like that?
Not off my top of my knowledge, no.
No shots. You don't remember him taking any shots?
If he did, I don't remember it.
Did y'all ever do that when y'all were at the lake?
I do, yes.
Well, okay. But y'all been known to do that.
Yes.
But you did see him drinking alcohol the night of the 3rd.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I paused it, but this is why I paused it. Remember when the defense attorney asked Chris about Scott maybe having a couple of beers? Remember how Chris said like no, like as though he made it seem like as though Chris don't even drink. The way he said no, I doubt it. Y'all remember that? And now the defense attorney is pointing out the fact that they did drink and that Scott did drink.
And you don't remember a specific time when he left?
I do not.
The next morning when you get out to play golf with him, what was his demeanor like?
Same as we always was, happy to play golf. I mean, when we woke up to play golf and we met, we always were a little sluggish in the morning, and he was just the same as the rest of us.
So he was a little sluggish, just like you guys?
Tired.
You could tell he was tired.
No, just same as the rest of us.
Right. So, which was tired? You said sluggish.
Yeah, we're 6:45 in the morning. We're all sluggish.
And y'all went to the lake again that day.
Correct.
Did he drink?
Best of my knowledge, I don't remember.
Now, you went, you testified earlier that you guys had been out on the farm shooting. All right. Were you ever in a Facebook video with him where you guys were shooting what appeared to be an AR-15 and then you start shooting some sidearm? Was that you?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I don't recall ever shooting an AR-15 over there.
All right. When you guys were shooting, was it along the backs? What part of the property were you guys on?
Behind the barn.
Behind the barn?
Where Scott lived, yes.
All right. And did you, what would you guys do? How would y'all shoot?
Shoot at targets.
Would you do any like kind of tactical movements as you did that?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Y'all just standing there shooting targets.
Yes.
Tell me about Scott. How was he a good shot? Is he a good shot?
Average.
Well, okay. Explain why he's an average shot.
He didn't shoot much better than me.
All right. And you would define yourself as an average shot.
Absolutely.
And the type of guns you guys would use, what would you bring your own? Would you use Scott's?
Bring our own.
All right. What did you bring over there?
I would have brought my dad's rifle, I believe, if I remember correctly.
And any handguns?
I didn't own a handgun at the time.
Did Scott?
I believe so.
And did he shoot with a handgun while y'all were there?
Possibly. I don't remember exactly what everybody was shooting.
Was there a lot of people over there shooting while you were doing this? Or just you and Scott?
No, 10 people or so.
10 people or so?
A campfire here, at night, just shoot and hang out, eat.
How often would y'all do that?
It was sporadic, every couple months or so, once a month, just depending on what everybody's schedules was.
And everybody back then, y'all were in y'all's mid-30s?
Yes, sir.
Because now everybody's kind of early 40s, but back then mid-30s, mid to late 30s.
Roughly.
So y'all get together every couple of months, go out to the barn, shoot, drink, have a bonfire, things like that.
We only shot once while I was there. The rest of the time it was all riding horses, campfire, cooking out, spending time with each other.
Your Honor, I may have a moment.
Welcome back, Silky Black. Welcome back. It gotta be StreamYard blocking my comments like this because I've been and went to type something, and then one of you guys will type the same thing or use the same type of words, and y'all's going through. I tried to type in hungover, and it blocked it.
Redirect.
That's okay.
She always got another question. Oh. Who? Another Farris finna come up here. Okay, so I put it on mute until the person can understand. I've been holding this back forever, and I don't want to forget. It's been on my mind, right? Because Scott was an infantry, that means on the front line, a shooter, all that type of stuff for the Army. Do y'all think that maybe the soldiers and the people who know how to use guns and stuff like that, do y'all think they know where to shoot somebody where it'd be like less blood? What y'all think? Uh-oh, here goes Scott, y'all. Oh, Scott came on here with 1 minute left for the stream, right at the 2 hour mark. Do y'all want to go another hour? Do y'all want to go another hour and get into his testimony? I don't know if this yes. Okay, are these yeses about the another hour or about they would know where to shoot with blood, where blood at? I don't know which one. Now I know Miss Steph 219 is saying 1 more hour because she typed. I saw that come up. Yes, please. Okay. Okay. Yes for both. I can stay. Okay. Okay. And shout out to the people up in the clouds. Okay. I see y'all up there by the numbers here. I appreciate y'all being here, listening and joining in. Please hit the like and just know you're always welcome down here in the Lit Lane Jury Box. And if you're catching this on a replay, been following the trial on replay, thank you. Go ahead and leave with me whenever you're watching a replay. Don't forget to leave me a comment and give me your thoughts. Okay, yes to keep going, and yes to the fact that he may know that an infantry or somebody familiar with guns and shooting and all that may know where to shoot somebody where it be less blood, because 1 shot to the ribs, no blood. 2 drops, 1 of the drops on the step, which wasn't even, it was a maybe blood. 1 drop on the tractor that was deemed to be blood. That just keeps sticking in my head. That's why I keep talking about it so much. But let's go. I'm going to be quiet. Let's see what Scott have to say. For anyone who wasn't with us at the beginning of this trial and maybe didn't see the sentencing part, because that's where we started off at, Scott is the other brother, okay, the second born, the youngest son, who lived on the farm at the house with the parents. He was in the service, was in infantry, meaning on the front lines. And Scott is the one that Melody Farris, when she got found guilty, she turned around in the court and said, you know you did this. Okay, so let's go.
Scott, just go ahead and stand behind the chair for you so I can swear you. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the evidence you're about to present this man is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and have a seat.
Underneath.
Scott, state your full name for the record.
Scott Walker Farris,
How old are you today?
41 years old.
And you know why you're here today?
Yes, sir, I do.
And would you identify your mother for the record, please? You see your mom sitting in court?
Yes, sir.
Just describe the clothing she's wearing.
She's wearing a gray jacket with a black shirt, glasses on her head, pearl necklace.
What I want to do is I want to go back and kind of introduce you to the jury. So let's go back and I want to talk about your childhood. If I asked you, where are you from? What's your answer?
I was born in Muscle Shoals, Florence, Alabama was the hospital. Lived there short period of time, and then we moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where my dad went to law school.
Okay. Let me ask you about that. We're going to break it down and go through it. How old were you? What were your memories? What age do you remember law school with your dad?
I was very little. I remember going to the law school. I remember when my dad graduated and seeing him jump over like a big mud puddle in his cap and gown. There's very, very little I remember of actually being in Tuscaloosa because I was so young.
But how old again were you when you were there?
Probably 5-ish, around in there.
And how old was your brother?
This is
Chris?
the second son,
But he's 3
Lady
years
Steph
older than me,
Scott.
so he would have been around 8.
the
9
one that
years old.
Melody
Do
blames.
you remember doing anything with your dad at law school? Did y'all play together or do anything when you were there?
Don't remember any. I remember going fishing with him. There was either a pond or a lake or river close by in the townhome that we lived in.
Do you have a memory of your when your dad was in law school, of him studying or coming back and studying or anything like that? Or what are the memories that you have of your dad while he was in law school?
I don't really remember any of that. I remember more in Birmingham when I believe he was he taught law school or helped out with a law professor, and helping him grade tests. I do remember that.
How'd you do that?
Well, back then it was like, when I was in high school, when you took, SATs or anything, it was fill in the bubbles. And, he would give me a kind of a cardboard cutout and I lay it over, and anything that didn't have a pencil mark, I'll just take a highlighter and hit it. So that was my way of helping him out.
He was grading tests.
Oh yeah, he was incredibly book smart.
How old were you when you were helping your dad do this?
We were living in Birmingham, so I was in elementary school. So I don't remember my exact age, but between, definitely between 5 and 10 years old, roughly.
And what were age of your siblings at this time when you were in Alabama? Or it was you and Chris?
All 4 of us would have been born, well, except for, I believe Amanda was born in Tuscaloosa, and Emily. No, sorry, Amanda was born in Birmingham. Emily was born in Tuscaloosa, I think. Emily is 5 years behind me, and then Amanda is 18 months roughly behind Emily.
All right, so let's go through the kids. Who's the oldest in the family?
Chris is.
And how much older is he than you?
5 years. No, sorry, 3 years.
3 years. And then it's you. And then who's after you, below you?
Emily.
Okay. And what's the age difference between you and Emily?
About a 5-year difference.
And then Amanda's the youngest?
Yes, sir.
Were you who you were the closest with? Were you closer to your sisters or to your brother, or who did you line up with?
I was more protective of, Emily was closer to me, so I was protective of her, but.
How about Chris? Was he closer to one of the sisters?
Chris was kind of more of on Amanda. I was Emily. Chris and I did a lot of things together as kids. We were very involved in baseball.
Sports?
Yes.
Did you play anything else besides baseball?
At the time, no.
What kind of things did you do for hobbies and things when you were young?
A lot of fishing.
And how about your sisters? What type of things would they do?
Played with Barbies.
As you've gone through this entire event, the murder of your father, is there a division among the kids now?
Chris, Emily, and I, we're all together. Amanda had turned on us.
Did things get stressful, tense after the death of your father?
Oh, yes. I mean, our whole world got wrecked.
Do you talk to your sister Amanda much anymore?
No, I do not.
How about your other siblings?
Yes, I talk to them at a minimum once a week, roughly.
Growing up, how close were the 4 to each other?
I mean, as we got older, we all kind of started doing our own things. Chris, he was older than me, so, with him being in high school and all, he's not going to hang out, as much with me. He's a little brother. He's got his own friends and all. And, Emily and I mean, we really didn't go do things together. It was kind of a normal childhood, just brother and sister type deal.
When it comes to your dad, as you're growing up through high school, did he work a lot?
Yes, he did.
Would you describe your father as was he a workaholic?
Yes, I would.
Did he love his work?
He absolutely did.
If you could describe whether or not he was an introverted or extroverted person, what was he like?
What do you mean?
Was he quiet, kind of isolated to himself, or was he the life of the party and would hang out with people?
So if there was something going on, if we all went out to dinner and stuff, he definitely sparked up conversations with everybody, crack jokes and everything like that. But he didn't go out all the time. I mean, if there was only going to be two places he was going to be at, home or the office working. But whenever we went out, and like when we used to go on dove hunting trips, a dove shoot and all, he would get around and talk with people and have a good time.
Do you like to hunt?
Yes, sir, I do.
What type of things do you hunt?
Pretty much anything I can. But here in the state of Georgia, I mainly do deer hunting and dove hunting.
What type of hunting did your dad like to do?
Bird hunting.
Do you do a lot?
A lot of bird hunting, yes.
And what kind of guns would you use when you do bird hunting?
Shotguns.
Do you have a particular gun that he would like to use or anything, or y'all would use?
I mean, he's had several shotguns. He started out with 12 gauge shotgun, and then he got a over and under silver pigeon. That's when he started getting more into quail hunting with clients. But he just mainly always had shotguns.
Do you like to play golf?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did your dad like to play golf?
He did, but he didn't play as much as, say, I would.
And who would you play golf with? Who was the people that you usually would go out with?
I've gone out a couple times with my brother, but mainly my friends Philip, Ted, and Justin.
What kind of education background do you have?
Graduated high school.
Did you get any training after that?
Not besides military, no.
Yeah, we'll get into military, but outside of that, no college degrees or anything?
No, sir.
What kind of skills, though? You're very good at certain things, I think. What things are you good at?
Mechanical. I've always been working with my hands, fixing things, repairing mowers, even washing machines and stuff like that. I've always been pretty good at diagnosing stuff and repairing it.
Are you more of a reader, or do you do something like hands-on?
More hands-on.
And what type of work are you doing now? You don't have to give us some name of any business or anything, but what type of work do you do now?
I'm a manufacturer technician.
And what's that mean?
The company we work for, we package, we mix ingredients and package workout supplements like pre-workouts, protein shakes. I'll take care of all the equipment like conveyors, massive blenders, machines basically that puts the powder into bottles and then puts labels on them and so forth.
Who has the highest education among the kids?
That would be Emily.
And do you know what she has?
She has a degree from Alabama, and I don't really remember what her specific degree is, but I know she's like in human resources now, I think.
Smart?
Yes.
Now I don't want to pitch your father's love against anybody, but how did your dad feel about Emily?
Oh, he loved her to death.
Did he love all you kids?
Yes, he did.
Did y'all at times disagree?
Between who?
Your dad and the kids? We all ever have disagreements with your mom and dad?
Oh yeah, everybody does.
Would you consider the relationship that you and your kids had before all this, was it pretty normal to you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I felt like I had a pretty decent, happy child life. We try to do as much things as possible. We went to the beach every year. We never got to go to Disney World or anything like that, but we had our family vacations and, we always got together for birthdays and Christmas and holidays.
Would your dad give you anything you wanted?
No.
Would he limit what you could get money-wise or make you account for it? What kind of car did you have?
Which time?
As a teenager?
As a teenager, I had my first vehicle was an old 91 Silverado, regular cab, no extended cab, nothing.
Would he give you whatever car you wanted?
He bought my first vehicle and he gave me a price limit. And I believe it had to be $10,000 or less.
How about with your brothers and sisters? Was he the same way?
Chris was, yes. He was pretty much the same way. They gave a price limit. Emily, he kind of flexed more on. And then Amanda, she got a brand new one.
So as it went down, it got more generous.
Yeah.
Now, when you were in Alabama, do you remember moving from there to Georgia?
Yes, sir, I do.
How old were you when that happened?
Well, I just completed elementary school and I was going to be starting middle school here.
So is that 7th grade or what grade is that? 8th grade?
6th grade, I would have started here.
How did you feel about coming to the Atlanta, Georgia area?
I wasn't happy. I had friends.
Do you remember the whole move as a family?
Yes, I do.
And where did y'all end up moving to? What was the first house in Alpharetta is what I refer to it as, but where was the first house?
At Hampton Hall neighborhood.
Describe this home. What was it like?
To me, I thought it was, the biggest house I've ever seen. Growing up, we either lived in a townhouse or an apartment. Our first big house was in Birmingham. Thinking back now, it's, probably no bigger than the house I live in now. But when we moved there, I thought this was, very nice house, very large.
What stands out about the house for you? What do you remember?
That I finally got my own bedroom. So I shared a bedroom with Chris up until we moved to Atlanta.
Financially, your father, was he doing better as he came from Alabama to Georgia?
Yes.
When y'all started out, he was in law school and all that. He was not making as much money as he eventually made.
I assume so, yeah. Back then I really didn't look at, how much money my dad was bringing in.
Did things get bigger though and more expensive or I guess better things in some ways? Was the house a nice house, your first house in Alpharetta?
Yes, it was. I noticed my dad liked to do projects. So we were able to do a lot more projects. We did projects at the old house too.
What do you mean by projects? What would he like to do?
Tear down a deck and build a new one. I remember doing that in the house in Birmingham and building a tree house in Birmingham. And when we moved to Atlanta, there was a lot of projects. Backyard, any yard work, just improving the house.
2-story house, the first house?
Yeah, it's 3 stories if you count the basement. So you have the basement, the main floor, and then the top floor.
How about the backyard? How big is the backyard?
Where you actually used, it wasn't, if I had my back against the wall of the house, the fence would have been at the wall at the back of the courtroom. But the property extended past that, but that was woods.
Or some woods and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to talk later on about, but at some point, did your dad set the woods on fire there?
Yes, I do remember that.
I want to go into now and talk about, as you got older out of high school, at some point, I guess, did you have several jobs or before you went into the military, or what were you doing before you went in the military? And what age did you go in the military?
Well, in high school, I was on work program, so I got to get out of school right after lunch. I worked for Jiffy Lube. I was taking automotive in high school. Started working there. Once after I graduated high school, I moved up to working for other mechanic shops like Tires Plus and American Service Station. Did that for quite a while, and then I just got kind of burned out on turning wrenches all the time, and I got into selling cars.
What age are we talking about here now?
Well, I've already graduated high school, so, between the ages of 18 to all the way up until I joined the Army, which is I was around 23, 24 years old.
And all this time, where were you living?
At my parents' house. I moved out for a while, lived with some friends, and made bad decisions. And
Baby, did y'all see Melody make that face just now when he say I moved out for a while? She looked like, yeah, right.
you know, partying too much and all, and
She can't barely
wound
take
up
it.
moving back home. And then that's when I started getting into selling cars.
So you were in your 20s drinking, partying a little bit?
Yeah, I was being your typical.
Sure. And then at some point, you decided to go into the military?
Yes, sir.
And which branch did you go into?
I went into the Army.
And when you went into the Army, do you remember how old you were and what was going on at that time?
So when I joined, I started joining around 2007. It took me a little while to actually join because I had to lose some weight to be able to get in. But I remember, you know, after I graduated basic, I turned 25 years old. So.
Where'd you get? You were in the Army, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to basic at?
Fort Benning.
And what do you remember about that experience?
Most challenging thing I've ever put myself through.
Are you proud that you did that?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do in the Army?
Infantry.
And what does that mean? Tell us, if we don't know what that means, what does that mean?
If anybody's ever joined the military, especially the Army, we're called 11 bang bang, bullet catchers.
All right, say that one more time for me.
We're called 11 bang bangs, bullet catchers.
Okay.
I fought on the front line.
And at some point, did you have to be deployed and go overseas?
Yes, sir. I went to Iraq.
And I'm not going to ask you too much about it, but you may ask some questions. But what I want to know is, what year was that you went over?
I went in 2009. I want to say it was April.
How was your relationship with your mother, the defendant, this time?
Pretty much, normal to me. We got in arguments and, got in arguments, had our good days, had our bad days.
You describe it as a typical relationship with your mother?
Yeah, nothing really stood out of the normal. The only thing, I definitely remember the day that I told my parents I was joining the Army. When I told her, she just flat out said, "You can't do it." And then when I told my dad, he was like, "You need to become a sniper."
Here we go.
What's your dad said?
That's what my dad said.
Was he proud of you?
Oh, yes.
See, he was an excellent marksman.
He was a history buff, and biggest history he liked was war history. So I do remember him telling me that he planned on joining the Air Force prior to my brother becoming pregnant with my brother.
What do you want to do in the Air Force?
That I don't remember.
But it was the Air Force.
Yes, sir. My grandfather, his dad, was in the Air Force.
Now, when you had to fly, I guess, and go overseas, you probably went to an airport or something like that. Did your mom come see you off?
Yes, she did.
And did your dad?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember that moment?
Yes, sir.
And how was she with you at that time? Was she proud of you when she sent you off?
Oh, yes.
What were her emotions like then when you were going off?
She was crying. She acted like, a mother would be.
How about your dad?
That was the second time I've ever seen my dad cry.
There's some tissue back there, Scott, if you need it.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. There's some tissue right behind you there if you need some.
There. But yeah, I remember it very well. They both dropped me off at the Atlanta airport. I left the Atlanta airport and went back out to Fort Bliss, El Paso, Texas.
What year was that you went over?
2009.
And how long were you overseas?
Just shy of the 1 year mark. I believe it was 10 and a half months I was over there.
Did you see some hard things while you were there?
Yes, sir.
When you came back home, did you get out of the military? When you came back home, were you still in the military for a while?
From
being overseas?
Iraq?
Uh-huh.
No, I actually re-enlisted while I was over in Iraq. And at the time, they gave out options. You could either go to, say, Ranger School or Airborne School, or you could choose duty station. I chose to go the route of choosing duty station, so I selected to go to Fort Benning, which I got stationed with 3rd ID.
And how long, when you came back, did you stay in the military?
I was released, my official last date was in 2013.
2013. Do you remember, was that before moving into the Purcell Lane property?
Yes, sir.
And when you're in the military, infantry, they teach you how to shoot?
Yes, sir. They
Teach you
did.
how to shoot rifles?
Yes, sir.
What type of rifles did you carry when you were in the military?
The M4.
And teach you how to shoot pistols?
Very, very seldom.
You didn't get a pistol as a sidearm as an infantry?
No, sir.
Mainly just the M4?
So in the military, in the Army, the only people who had pistols were officers and MPs. But the rest of us, we had either M4s or you were a assault gunner, which that's what I was on that deployment. Assault gunners, it was a machine gun that I was able to carry around with me all the time.
Does that have anything to do with your size?
Possibly. I mean, they weren't going to give a,
Someone my size, that gun?
I mean, you could carry it around. You wouldn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy carrying that gun around with me all the time.
How big are you?
Currently, I'm 6'6", about 285 pounds.
And what size was your dad?
I outgrew him and my brother by 1 or 2 inches. And my dad was anywhere from, I'd say, 290 to 300 pounds.
So at the time of his death, around 300?
Yes, sir.
Was he a little bit short, just a little bit shorter than you?
Yes.
And when you were in the military and you got the training that you received, at some point did you just decide to get out and go do something else?
No, sir. I actually was let go from the military for reduction of force. It was during the Obama administration, and they basically kind of did a lottery system. If you join between a certain time and you've done so many days of service, that's how you were selected. So on my DD-214, it says reason of separation is reduction in force.
Now, let's talk about this secret marriage of yours. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. Look at the jury and tell them about this secret marriage that you had and what was going on. Who was it with and what was going on?
So it was with Gina. We both in process at Fort Bliss together. She was in the military as well. She did financing. We both got to Fort Bliss at the same time, and we met during the in-processing, which took several weeks. And we all had a group of friends hanging out, and we eventually started dating. I deployed, she didn't, and she was my girlfriend, and I was, in love and scared and just had a lot of different emotions.
Where'd y'all meet?
Where we meet?
Yeah.
In El Paso, Texas.
You're working together, the same thing, or not really?
Well, we
Did you meet on the
didn't
base, or
work
how did y'all-
together.
How did y'all meet is what I'm asking.
During the in-processing, we wound up ending up sitting next to each other, and then pretty much all the group of people that, we were sitting around, we all became friends and hung out all the time.
How long did y'all date?
We were together until after, till all the way until I moved to Fort Benning. But going back on, to us getting married, we talked about when I came home on R&R from Iraq, she came to Georgia to be with me, and we talked about getting married and all. I never got down on one knee and proposed to her or anything, but at the time of the wars, 2 states did a proxy marriage. You had a single proxy, I believe, state of Texas, and then a double proxy in the state of Montana. So basically all you had to do was just fill out paperwork, get it notarized, pay the fees, mail it off, and you were legally married. So we went ahead and did that. But the plan was I was gonna come back and we were gonna move to Fort Benning together and actually do it the right way, have a wedding and, tell everybody. But things didn't work out once we were together for quite a period of time and decided to split ways.
So how long were y'all actually together? How much time were y'all together, whether dating and married?
Besides deployments, man, that was several years.
Y'all lived together?
We did live together out in El Paso when I got back from Iraq. We lived in an apartment for about 4 or 5 months.
Did you hide her from your family?
No.
Did you bring her around your family?
As much as I could. I mean, we lived out in Texas, so.
Did they ever lay eyes on her and see her?
Oh, yes, sir. She actually wound up getting out of the Army before I did, and she moved back here to Georgia because she was originally from Rome, Georgia, where she lived with her family, and she used to go and have dinner with my dad while I was deployed.
Did they like her?
Oh, yes. I mean,
here's a $1 million question. Why didn't you tell your family you were married?
It was kind of a thing that, I'm kind of old school in a way, kind of like my dad. I mean, I've wanted to do the whole ask her father's hand in marriage, but he lived in Columbia, so couldn't
Columbia,
really do
South
that.
Carolina?
No, Columbia, South America. So I've met her brothers before, but didn't get to meet a lot of her family. But she met all my brothers and my brother and my sisters, my mom and my dad.
Well, did y'all divorce or separate because of something bad, or it just didn't work out?
It didn't work. She wanted it. I didn't, because I loved her. But I wasn't her first or her last marriage, put it that way. So we were just young, and I was just going through a crazy time. I mean, I was being deployed to Iraq. I mean, I didn't know if I was going to come back.
When did you end up telling your family about the marriage?
After all this happened, and we were sitting in the law office, and
Manny
Aurora's, and he said, if there's anything that needs to be told that could come out of this, it needs to be told now. And that was the only thing that I was like, oh crap, I might as well tell them. I mean, we were already divorced, and I didn't know how extensive it was going to become. So
did you tell Amanda too? Does she know?
They were all in the room.
Chris, Emily, and Amanda?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you some questions about what your dad was like. You said he's smart. When you say smart, how smart was your dad?
Very. In my eyes, he was the smartest man I knew.
In what ways did he show that?
Oh, growing up, he always, was grabbing our books from school and reading stuff. And he always loved watching Jeopardy and, constantly watching that. And he just, Alex Trebek will ask a question, boom, he'll give out the answer. I mean, put it this way, my dad was so smart, he talked in his sleep. And if you caught him talking in his sleep, you give him a math problem, and I'm not saying 2 + 2, like something big, he'll give you the right answer in his sleep.
How did he do in law school?
If I remember right, he was top of his class. He was either number 1 or number 2. I kind of want to say number 2 because I do kind of remember him being ticked off that he didn't get the number 1 spot.
Now wait a
When it
minute.
came to his,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. See, this is the reason why I can't take them seriously, right? He definitely seems more genuine than his brother. Absolutely, he seems more likable than his brother to me. However, there he goes lying like his brother. How you gonna say both things? Okay, he could have just said, okay, I remember he was at the top of the class and leave it right there alone, right? Maybe number 1 or number 2. Okay, you added something. And then you say you remember him being mad because he wasn't number 1. Boy, that means let me shut up. All these unprovoked lies.
work ethic. What was that?
Child.
He worked a lot. He loved his job. He was very good at what he did. If he wasn't doing law, he was working around the house.
When he was doing his legal work, would he take a lot of vacations, or is he one of those guys that would just work a lot?
He would work a lot.
Would
The
he-
only time that we took vacations is when he had to do law seminars down. It originally started off in Gulf Shores, and then eventually it moved over to Sandestin area. That's how we did our vacations.
So he would go get training at a very nice resort or something. Y'all go with him?
Yes, sir.
Did you enjoy those?
Oh, yes.
Whole family go?
Every year we had to do it.
He had to get his continuing legal education hours in. Did he go do that?
Yes, that's what I presume it was.
Would he be checking his? Now, I know you said your dad is very smart, but when it comes to when you talk to your dad, or the kids would talk with your dad, when they talk with Gary, would it be odd for them to text or email him to have a conversation or solve a problem with him? I mean, is he somebody that communicated by email or text message with the family?
Both. Before really texting became a thing, it was, email. So that's how he would communicate with me when I was over in Iraq, or when I lived in El Paso, Texas. He would send me emails.
You remember his email address?
I want to say it was gfarris@bird.com. I think it was something along those lines.
What about your dad's wit? Could he cuss you with his wit? Was he quick-witted? If you did something, would he say something? What was his personality like when he would have banter or debate with you or anything like that?
I mean, he would respond fairly quickly and all, but not aggressively.
Well, I'm not saying that. Was he sarcastic? Was he straightforward? What was his personality like? Was he a joke?
He always cracked up jokes. I mean, to me, they were corny, but, he always cracked up jokes.
When it came to the things that he really liked, how much did he like Mountain Dew and cigarettes?
Two things about my dad. He always had a cigarette in his hand, and he always had a Mountain Dew in his hand.
How much do you think he would smoke a day?
He was a pretty heavy smoker.
Did you ever get on him, tell him to quit smoking?
Oh, yes.
What did he say?
Oh, I'm going to, I'll quit one day. That was always his, response to it.
About the Mountain Dew?
Yeah, you didn't take those Mountain Dews away from him. It was like water to him. He didn't drink alcohol. He occasionally drank coffee, but no, 99% of the time was the Mountain Dew.
And your mom, how did she feel about him smoking and drinking Mountain Dew?
She didn't enjoy it. I know more of the smoking she didn't like. Mountain Dews, I know as he got older and the health got worse, she tried to start buying caffeine-free Mountain Dews, and he wasn't a fan of them. So
where would he keep the Mountain Dew?
In the garage refrigerator.
Now, is it true that he wouldn't even go to ball games anymore because they wouldn't let you smoke and things like that? I guess didn't enjoy going out because of couldn't smoke at certain places, or?
No, I wouldn't really say that. I mean, he still went. I mean, we went before he passed. We went to the SEC championship. I believe it was the year prior.
And who went with you to that?
It was my dad and I, Chad and Chris.
When you say Chad, I know who you're saying. Who is Chad?
Chad is Amanda's now husband.
Chad Bruce.
Yes.
And I think he started dating your sister Amanda. Is that how he came into the family?
Yes, man. At that time that we went to the SEC championship, he was dating Amanda.
At the time of your dad's death, would you say he had a lot of friends he would hang out with, or was he more close at home and homebody?
My dad was a homebody.
It's supposed to be the time. Judge, I was about to ask you, can we take a break?
Let's get a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Would he have, to your knowledge, would he have friends though? Or is he more just kind of around the family?
He was more around the family. Every once in a while he would go skeet shooting. I don't know if they were with clients or work friends, I would say. I mean, I really don't, he wasn't friends with like the neighbor down the road and go play golf with him. It was always either somebody from the law firm or somebody he's done work for.
When he would get home at night, he'd get out of the car. Would he go look at the pasture, just walk out there, have a cigarette, or what was he like when he got back?
So my dad was very routine. You can read him like a book. He always, depending on traffic, there was a certain time frame he would always come home, and he would immediately come in, pull into the garage, grab a Mountain Dew, and go change clothes. And once he changed clothes, it varied. He could have he would have either gone up to sat in the driveway and looked around and had a cigarette and stuff, or he would go straight down to the office and start working.
Now, the type of law practice that your father did, was it corporate law?
Yes, sir.
He wasn't doing divorce law?
No, sir.
He wasn't doing criminal defense law?
No, sir.
He wasn't doing anything, I don't want to say exciting. He wasn't doing anything dangerous?
No.
He worked in an office in Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, did your dad have any enemies whatsoever at the time of his death?
No.
Did you ever see anybody that had a beef with him or a problem with him or anything like that?
Absolutely not.
Did you even see around the time of his death that anybody outside the family that he had even disagreements or arguments with, or even something like a road rage or something like that?
No.
Could you think of anybody outside your family that wanted to do your father harm?
No.
Did he have concerns about someone doing harm to him that you saw at that time?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Your dad's health, he would have some things called spells. Tell the jury what that was.
So, best way I can describe it was he would get very weak. He talked very thick tongue, like his tongue was swollen up, and some people would think he was drunk the way he kind of slurred, but he just got very exhausted and wanted to go lay down. And when he would have them, that's what he did. He would go and lay down, either on the couch or go lay in bed, and he would sleep for a couple hours.
When did these spells start occurring?
I think they kind of started possibly at the old house in Alfred and Hampton Hall, but they got more prominent after we moved to the farm. They just started occurring more and more and more.
Now, is this when he would have these spells? Is it any sign that was coming on, or were it just all of a sudden just start happening?
We talked about it, and he said, yeah, he could kind of feel, the first thing that he would notice is he'll feel, really tired, like he wanted to go lay down and take a nap. So Once he started feeling that, that's when his speech started getting slurry, like he had a real thick tongue. And once that happened, that's when he would just go and lay down.
And when he would lay down, did he miss work because of these spells or anything that you know of?
Well, you mean, yeah, he was sleeping, but
How the frequency? How often would these spells come on, and how long would they last? Is what I'm trying to get at.
He'll have, it'll happen like one day a week. I really don't remember him having like 1 or 2 spells a week. So he'll have about, he'll have one day during the week, and then 2 or 3 weeks down the road, he'll have another one.
Was it to a degree that it dramatically interrupted his life and things he was doing? Or was it not that?
I remember one time we were working on the farm. I think it was when we were building the fence, and he said, I feel like I got a spell coming on. And he will go and sit on the RTV, and I'll just kind of look over there and check on him. And I remember that day, I was like, are you feeling all right? And he was like, yeah, I need to go lay down. I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll, come over there and check on you.
Outside of that, did he, I think you told law enforcement he didn't have kidney stones or anything like that. Is there anything else about his health that you saw that was an issue at the time, around the time of his death?
I know, well, before his death, there was one night, Melody called me up and said, get over to the house. Your father's acting very strange. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he's seeing like I think she said like seeing palm trees and stuff like that. He's just talking weird. And so I immediately jumped up off my couch and left the barn and went over to the house. And yeah, I've never seen my father like that. He was kind of talking like a child would. And we wound up taking his blood pressure, and she bought a blood sugar thing, whatever. She pricked his finger and tested that. I don't remember what it came back as the reading, but I called a friend that was a nurse and asked her, what should we do? And when I told her the reading, she was like, get him to emergency room now. And we took him to the emergency room.
When was that?
I don't remember the exact date, but it was definitely within a year prior to his death. So it was fairly,
Was that the last time? Was that when he was in the hospital? Was that possibly April, or was that something else you're talking about?
That was probably it then, because it was within that same year of 2018. So it was just prior to his death, within a few months, I would say, but I really don't remember the exact date.
Did your dad want to stay in the hospital?
No.
What did he do?
Well, so, we get to I remember we got him into the Sequoia. I drove, and we pull up to the emergency door there.
Where'd y'all go?
We went to, I guess that's Northside Hospital in Forsyth,
Right.
exit 14. Pulled up to the emergency door, and I looked at Melody, and I was like, okay, take him in. She's like, no, you take him in. I'm like, no, I got to park the vehicle. Take him in. He's your husband. You know more of his medical history than I do. So, take him in. So she took him in. And then he was still very lethargic, I guess, would say. He was, but he was starting to get better. And by the time, the doctor finally came in and all, he was kind of back to his normal self. And then they said they wanted to keep him in the hospital and kind of keep track of everything. And he stayed.
They want to keep him just to observe him, or
yes,
run tests, or what was it?
Yeah, they were trying to figure out, because we brought up about him having spells and all this stuff, and he's been to the doctor. He went to his physician all the time. They thought it was a vitamin B deficiency, and maybe a testosterone problem, or nobody could figure out what was causing these spells. And this was a bad one. I mean, I was worried for the way he was acting. So he stayed in the hospital, I want to say 1 or 2 nights, but he was back to his normal self before they even moved him upstairs.
And did he check himself out of the hospital and come back home?
Yes.
Did you see him have any other symptoms after that? Or
No, I did not.
did he have to have surgery?
No.
Do you have to have any procedures?
Not that I remember, no.
Outside of just going to the hospital, nothing really from that?
No, not that I can remember.
Did he bleed at all during this?
No.
Did you see any blood coming from his throat or his mouth?
No.
Did you ever see your dad around this time or in this time cough and spit blood up?
No, sir.
Did you ever find bloody rags or Kleenexes, or the idea that there was some type of blood, or your dad's had some type of throat cancer or problems, anything with his throat?
No.
Was your dad suicidal?
No.
Did you see anything about your dad that made you think, my dad's got thoughts about hurting himself or killing himself or anything like that?
Never once in my entire life.
Outside of the spells, is there anything else health-wise that you think the jury should know about?
The man had high blood pressure. Pretty much everybody knows that. It runs in my family. But yeah, I was always worried he was going to have a heart attack one day. That was my biggest concern, was him having a heart attack because of how much he smoked and, the amount of Mountain Dews he drank, and he didn't go out and run. Last time I ever remember my dad jogging is when we lived in Birmingham. So,
Did your dad like to walk a long distance?
No.
He liked to drive that RTV?
That RTV his butt was glued to it.
When you talk about your dad's, I think you could almost, I don't think he said set a clock by him, but write a book by him or something about his habits when he would come home. Would he do the same thing? His procedure, his routine was the same thing?
Oh, yes. I mean, like I said, if you were around him enough, you would be able to pick up on his routine very quickly. He always did the same kind of thing every day.
I hear you're a good cook. Is that true?
Well, in the kitchen,
or I guess grilling, barbecuing.
Where else you gonna cook? Oh,
Your mom,
outside. Okay.
Y'all buy near your dad's death. Did y'all get a new barbecue or grill or something?
Yes, I got for my birthday that year. I was asked what I wanted, and I said I wanted an electric smoker.
Smoker, that's right.
Yes.
And did your mom and you use that to smoke something for the family or friends?
It was my dad's birthday. I think it was just prior to his death. Smoked a whole bunch of barbecue chicken.
Now, on July 5th, 2018 is when you found the remains, and that's that Thursday. Was your birthday 2 days later?
Yes, sir.
So July 7th?
Yes, sir.
And when was your dad's birthday? Was it in June, the end of June?
June 27th is his birthday.
All right, so you have some cooking skills, grilling skills, things like that. How about your dad?
Not so much. I don't ever really remember my dad grilling. He did I do remember when he did it when we were younger, but once I got old enough to start cooking on the grill, I was the one who did it.
Was your mom a good cook?
Very.
And did she do most of the cooking in the house?
Yes, sir.
When your dad wanted something to eat, food, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, who would cook it?
When?
What was his routine? If he got home so do this for me. He gets home at night. About what time does he get home, and what's he do till he goes to bed? What was his routine?
Well, I mean, when I'm asking when, I mean, at the farm or back at the old house?
At the house and the farm.
At the farm?
His routine around the time of his death. That's what I'm interested in.
Okay. So he'll be home roughly 6, 7 o'clock. Like I said, depending on traffic. And cooking dinner wise, if Melody was in town, she would fix something. But towards the later part of, closer to his death, she was not home a lot. She was constantly going up to Tennessee. And then I would be the one that would either have to fix dinner or go get us something to eat.
When your dad would come home in the house, you've got in Purcell, 2155 Purcell Lane. If I said what floor in the house would be his domain where he would hang out, which one would that be?
No, it'd be the basement.
And if he wanted to get something to eat, how would he get in the house? He didn't go anywhere, and the defendant would actually, your mother would cook him food. How would he do that? Would he?
He'll come up to the kitchen and eat it at the kitchen island.
Would he eat upstairs?
Yes, sir.
He wouldn't take it back downstairs and eat, or he'd eat?
The only thing he would have taken downstairs to eat was dessert, key lime pie.
You like dessert?
Oh, he loved his key lime pie.
So he'd come upstairs, eat dinner?
Yes.
If you were sitting in the kitchen, where in the kitchen would he sit? I know there was a table kind of outside of it, but where in the kitchen would he sit and eat?
So in the kitchen, we had a very large island. And there was 3 or 4 bar stools, and he would sit.
Okay, y'all. So we're going to stop it right here because I want to show y'all a picture. And we're going to pick up here tomorrow. Let me put the timestamp on my little sticky note I made. I should have been figured that out. 6 hours and 18 minutes. Let's see. Day 4. 6 hours, 18 minutes. Let me put it on my little thing. 6 hour, 18-minute mark. Day 4. All right. Oh, maybe I should get the link and put it on there. Duh. So this was good tonight. We finally got through Chris. We heard from Jenna, the daughter-in-law, ex-daughter-in-law. We heard from whatever that guy, Mr. Sample. I can't remember his first name. He was absolutely called up there as a alibi witness for Scott, and Scott took the stand.
Oh.
Right? And from Scott, we got a lot of background information and the lead up. Now, he doesn't seem to have as much ire for his mom as Chris absolutely displayed. Not yet. However, he calls his mom Melody. He doesn't seem to be as much of an obvious liar, but we didn't caught him up on a couple of things. Yes, I'm holding court tomorrow night because I got to come show. I'm going to come on here tomorrow night because I got to show y'all my new look. My new look. My new look. New look. I'm going to get my makeup done tomorrow and buy my new little makeup and stuff, girl. Yes. So, I will be looking forward to you guys tomorrow. And because y'all know I only do the nighttime thing like this Monday through Thursday. So, I'll be here. Now, remember I told y'all about the last time they came in, the apartment people with the inspections, the unit inspections. So for some reason, I don't know why, but I got an email yesterday saying they was coming in for their biannual inspections, which it seemed like I just did one. So anywho, y'all, as I told y'all, I think that I probably got too many fish tanks. Child, let me show y'all how I hide my fish tanks. Hold on. Wait a minute. I told Lane about this, but let me actually show them. One moment, let me see. Let me actually show y'all. This is my bright idea of how I living. Why you talking about Lord? Y'all excuse the puppy pad. Y'all know already I got this puppy. So this is how this is, I promise to God now, this is so funny. Wait, wait. Y'all got me crying laughing. Baby, look. This the second one. Woo. This the second one, y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, y'all making my side hurt. Oh, Lord. Oh, y'all making my side hurt. Oh my God. Ooh, ooh, Lord. Ooh. Oh, shit. Ooh. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, let me y'all. Oh Lord. Hold on. Don't make me laugh. Y'all make me laugh. And look, y'all. Look. I got up early this morning. Y'all know I was up early. I woke up early this morning, girl, so I can go about camouflaging my fish tanks. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to come anytime. Anytime this week. So I get up early, y'all, and hide my fish tanks and shit. Put my oh Lord mercy. Oh my God. Oh my God. But it worked last time. Okay? It worked last time. So I feel like it's an excellent goddamn disguise. Okay. Oh, wait, y'all make my head start hurting from laughing. Wait a minute, wait. I think this is an excellent camouflage, okay? And I figure they didn't ask me last time what was under the sheet, right? So I figured maybe they're not allowed to get all of my business, right? But if they were to ask me what's under the sheet, I would simply tell them I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Okay? If you look over there back to the back and shit, if y'all look to the back by all that jumbled up shit, the wires and stuff, if y'all see that brown thing, girl, that's my easel. Okay? Now the easel is significantly smaller than the tanks and everything, but that ain't none of their goddamn business, okay? I would definitely tell them I cut the yes. Normally you would hear the water filters, but for right now, Betty Boop, I got the water filters cut down. Like I got them low. I got some big old nice water filters that's adjustable and everything. So I got them cut down where they're not making the noise, and I cut off all the lights and everything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't believe that shit. Yes, it ain't no black person. You know, thank God in this instance, I don't mean no harm, but you know, the Hispanic people, they don't be all nosy and shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't be up all in your grill. We got nothing but Hispanic maintenance people, right? Shout out to the Se Habla Español group, okay? Because when they come, they don't ask no million questions. And quite honestly, I always wear a shirt with no bra on, okay? I'm just saying real quick, a little distraction ain't never hurt nobody. And so I damn sure don't put no bra on when I know the maintenance people come in for inspections, because, baby, I stays right up in their face. Hola, come on, senor. Ooh, it's real hot today. Mucho caliente, eh? Or like, I don't know the Spanish word for cold. Does anybody know what the Spanish word for cold is? Because I would say, mucho caliente, eh? You know what I'm saying? So I can make conversation and shit. And the more conversation I make with them, without no bra and stuff like that, mucho frio, senor. Mucho frio. Ooh. Mucho. It's frio, senor. It's frio. Mucho frio, senor. Oh. 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 Oh, Lord. Oh, let me be quiet. Make my head hurt. So, I wanted to end on a little light for the lane jury box, okay? And I think I kind of like ending the sessions with something cute and funny, because y'all just, I can't say y'all just don't know. I'm pretty sure y'all know. I always got something funny going on around here. Quite honestly, I always got something funny going on. And so now I'm going to just take a picture or something and just show y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because it do be funny. Honey, in case you see this, it's for entertainment purposes only, and everything is allegedly. Girl, yes, you know I be putting my bra on. Wink, wink. Okay. Now, you guys have a wonderful night. We had a wonderful, wonderful trial watch tonight. I will not be on for the daytime court. Okay, I won't be on for that, but I will be here tomorrow night. All righty, y'all be looking out for y'all notifications until we meet again. Court is adjourned. And I tried to find some court pictures, but girl, they don't seem to match this content. I gotta find a better one. Okay, bye y'all.
Thanks for watching. Do not forget, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Like, comment and share. See you next time.